ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Embiid is back for Philadelphia. That'll do it for us on NBA Countdown. The NBA on ESPN Radio is presented by Indeed. Attract, interview, and hire at Indeed.com/credit. Celtics and Sixers. Philly leads the best of 7. One game to none with the call of game 2. To TD Garden we go to join the broadcast team alongside PJ Carlissimo. Here's Mark Testesher.
Kevin Winter, thank you very much. Nervous time in Boston after losing game 1. And, oh, by the way, the newly minted NBA MVP is back in the lineup for Philadelphia, Joel Embiid. PJ, the Sixers' game 1 win without Embiid, their first playoff win in Boston since May of 2012, their first game 1 win of the series against the Celtics since April of 1981. And they have a chance to do something they haven't done since the mid-'80s. Let's go up 2-love in a series. We expect Boston to come out with a little more force here tonight in game 2.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling to win that first one on the road. And I think Boston is going to come now with a little bit more. They're going to come with an enormous amount of intensity. Sometimes that can be difficult to channel, but they understand better than anybody. Their backs are up against the wall.
Well, with that in mind, let's get to PJ Carlissimo's keys to the game. They're brought to you by NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions. What are the keys for the Celtics?
Kesty, they did so many things right offensively, but they still lost the game. They can't turn the ball over. They had 16 turnovers. That led to 20 points for the Sixers. They've got to defend the three-point line. That was really the difference in the game. Philadelphia shot 17 for 38, 45%. That's why they were able to win the game. Conversely, for Philly, we keep talking about the desperation level that the Celtics are going to have. Philadelphia has to be able to muster up that same kind of desperation. That's oftentimes not easy to do. They also need to defend the paint. They did not do that in game 1. They gave up 66 paint points to the Celtics. With Joel Embiid in there, though, that number should not be as high.
I was going to say, the Sixers are playing with house money. We should call it they're playing with road money. I thought it was interesting, Doc Rivers telling us today, in some way, playing without Joel Embiid kind of helps in his rotations with the Embiid on the bench minutes. He kind of liked the fact, obviously, you get the win, but the fact that they played so well with him off the floor.
Well, it's the same thing you and I were talking about in Sacramento over the weekend. Golden State struggles when Steph is on the bench. Philadelphia has struggled a lot when Joel Embiid is on the bench. Well, no kidding. You're talking MVPs. You take them out of the lineup, you're going to struggle.
Well, let's get to the starting lineups for Game 2 of this best-of-7 conference semifinal series for the visiting Philadelphia 76ers, the 3 seed in the East, back to their usual startup with Embiid returning. It'll be Tyrese Maxey and James Harden in the backcourt. Harden, of course, tying his playoff career high, 45 points in Game 1, including 7 3-pointers. The 7th was the go-ahead blast with 8.7 seconds to go. Up front, Tobias Harris and P.J. Tucker. Harris's numbers are up in this postseason, nearly 20 points per game, also 8 boards per game, and they're happy to have the big man back, Joel Embiid, who had a grade 2 right knee sprain in Game 3 against Brooklyn in the first round. That was 13 days ago on April 20th. Oh, by the way, Embiid has scored 41 and 52 points in his last 2 against the Celtics this year. Celtics will go with their same starting 5, Marcus Smart and Derek White in the backcourt. Smart was on the injury list earlier today with a bruised chest. He is ready to go. Joe Mazzulla telling us pregame, and he'll be in that starting lineup. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they're the engine for the Celtics up front. Tatum with back-to-back 30-point, 10-rebound games. He had 39 points in Game 1, but his last field goal came at the 11-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And Al Horford also up front for the Boston Celtics, who are feeling a lot like the Golden State Warriors and also the New York Knicks, dropping a Game 1 at home. Knicks got an answer last night. We'll find out what happens with the Warriors and the Lakers tomorrow night on ESPN Radio. But tonight, it's the Celtics' turn to see if they can even this series before they head to the road.
Yeah, and there's not a good feeling in Boston, not because of the Celtics, but between what happened with the Bruins and the Celtics the other night. Everybody's tiptoeing around saying, man, what is going on?
Well, if the fans were nervous coming into the building, you can't sense it now. They're on their feet. They're loud. Celtics in their Kelly green Boston uniforms. Boston across the chest in white, numerals in white. The 76ers with the white uniforms, the navy blue numerals. Joel Embiid, the MVP, is back against Horford. Embiid wins the toss, and we are underway in game 2. And James Harden, enemy number 1 after 45 points, hearing the boos as he ball handles out in the front court on the right side. Harden finding Tyrese Maxey curling on the right. Now they lob it to Embiid. He's well outside the mid post. Takes Horford to the high post. Out to Maxey. They swing it to Harris. Baseline drive. Lifts from 10 and knocks it home for the first bucket.
Well, you mentioned Tobias is playing very, very well in the playoffs, and that's a great addition because he's been a little in and out.
He's like the fourth option this year as Jaylen Brown off the curl and screen, receives the pass and knocks home a triple from the top of the arc.
Jaylen Brown has not been in and out. He's been in.
54% from three-point land in the postseason. Harden penetrates outside to Embiid. A three is the first shot for the MVP. A miss and rebounded by the Celtics. Here's Marcus Smart bringing it up floor. Slings it over to Horford. Left corner catch and shoot three is short. And Harden has the board. He'll outlet to Maxey into the front court. A minute gone by. Maxey lifts for three and knocks it home as Philadelphia takes the 5-3 lead early.
I'll tell you what, three-point shooting was really impressive from both teams.
Yeah, the numbers for the Celtics were amazing offensively. Here's Smart, wasn't defended, drove right to the center of the lane. Now kicks it out to White. Derek White will attack the rim, puts it up, missed it against Embiid. P.J. Tucker with a rebound.
Yeah, great look. He was so close, he probably should have used the backboard.
Here's Maxey. Quick trigger three from the right is a miss. Boy, they're going early in the shot clock for Philadelphia.
I remember what Doc told us when they were playing Brooklyn. He said, rebound and run.
Tatum receives it from Horford, shoots behind the screen, in and out on the three. Harris rebounds for Philly. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Just underway, first quarter, game 2. Here's Harden getting by Jaylen Brown right into Tatum, who swats it away. It's off the baseline. It's out of bounds, and it'll be last touch by Philadelphia. Boston ball.
Doc's really upset. He's getting on Kevin Scott. I thought it was Rodney Mott's fault. I thought there was a lot of contact.
Scott Mott and our crew chief, Zach Zarba, are officials tonight. Here's Brown driving. Reverse layup is good as Boston ties the game at 5. Doc still upset, yelling at Kevin Scott.
I thought there was contact. We didn't see a replay. I thought James Harden got hit pretty hard.
Tyrese Maxey will drive through a crushing Embiid screen at the top. Now Maxey against Derek White, outstanding perimeter defender who picks up Harris with the ball angle left, 6 to shoot. Harris dribbles to the top, keeps the left-hand dribble, goes up, slapped away by White. Nice play. Here's Tatum coming down the other end of the floor, 1-on-3. Finds White in the right corner. He'll launch for three. It's a miss, and Harden grabs the rebound.
Well, we heard Doc in the interview in the pregame show saying Boston would take more threes. They only attempted 26 on Monday. That's a small number for Boston.
Inside pass tapped out, but Maxey has it for Philly in the corner. Now to Embiid. Fires to the opposite corner. Tucker around the horn. Harris on top, stutter step, jabs, now drives, lift, contested jumper, missed. Smart rebounds for Boston. 9 minutes to go in the first. Smart quickly into the front court. Drives deep shot, blocked by Embiid, and he saved it before it went out of bounds.
Welcome back, Joel.
Here's Maxey in the forecourt, blowing by Horford. He went too deep, missed the layup, and Horford got in there as well to defend. 5-5 game. Horford on the other end. Pass to Tatum up high. 8:44 to go in the first. Maxey checking Tatum. Drives against the smaller player into Embiid. Got knocked down in our first whistle. It's going to be Maxey's going to be the call for yanking down on Tatum.
They were going up and down pretty good right there. Just to finish that thought, Boston attempts the second most threes in the league, 42.6 a game. They only attempted 26.
Inbound to Horford. He'll launch a quick three, and he'll miss it as it trickles out of bounds.
Both of Al Horford's threes went almost
flat
underneath the rim. Had no chance to get in at all. But again, Philly did a good job on Monday running the Celtics off the line. They gave up a lot of points inside, but they wouldn't let them shoot the three. They made them bounce the ball.
Both teams struggling from the field early. Philly's 2 for 7. Boston 2 for 8. Jaylen Brown's 2 for 2. The rest of the Celtics are 0 for 6. Here's Harden. Bounce pass to Embiid in traffic and a foul as Embiid looked like he was gathering and going up. They're going to call the foul, and it will be a 2-shot foul as Al Horford picks up his first.
He did well to catch the ball because he was wedged between two Celtics when he caught the ball and then just kind of raised his arms up. I thought he started the upward motion. It'll be interesting to watch, Joel, not necessarily right now, after he goes up and down a little bit, maybe late first or when he comes back in the second quarter to see how he looks.
First free throw, front rims, backboard, and in for Embiid.
He's got that other issue too, Kesty, not just the fact that he's got a bad knee. He hasn't played in a long time. We did that game 3 back in Brooklyn.
It's almost 2 weeks ago.
Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, it was 13 days ago. Doc Rivers did tell the media he has 2 different plans minute-wise, depending on how Embiid looks on this first run, short minutes or longer minutes. He had some good quotes in his press conference earlier today. If they're short minutes, just tell him get some water and get back out there. As Embiid hits both free throws, 7-5 Philadelphia. 8:20 to go, opening quarter. Marcus Smart and the Celtics. Basket to our right at the top, has a screen, gives it up to the screener Brown. Jalen drives into traffic, passes out to Horford. Left corner, it goes to Tatum. Tatum bouncing against Embiid, ducks in, got the whistle, puts it up, and scores. Nice move by Jason Tatum and a chance at a three-point play.
That's a heck of a move. He went at Embiid, and he had Maxey waiting right behind him. I thought he actually drove into traffic, but watching the replay now, James Harden was there also. 3 different players involved in the play. JT just went right up with it. He made a good move. Crossover and then that long step up high off the rim.
You hear the MVP chants for Tatum, who ended up 4th in the MVP voting as he completes a 3-point play. And the free throw going over the head of the current MVP.
There was no
Joel
shortage of MVP candidates.
No. 8-7 Boston on the 3-point play by Jason Tatum. Crossing 8 minutes to go, opening quarter, game 2. Tyrese Maxey up high to Embiid near the free throw line against the smaller Smart, who backs and pulls the chair. Embiid went down. Philly keeps it in the corner. Harris, Tobias 3 is a miss. Loose ball, diving on the floor. Marcus Smart pulls it away. What hustle. Down on the other end, Jaylen Brown sings it over to White. His 3 is short. P.J. Tucker limping as he came up. I think Marcus Smart, when he dove, might have got into Tucker that time. Tucker hiding in that left corner right now. Here's James Harden with it up high. Philly down 1. 7.5 to go in the first. Drives, look for contact, didn't get the whistle. Floater, no, and a late whistle from Zach Zarba. I think Harden was anticipating the whistle a little bit earlier, and that's going to be 2 on Al Horford.
Well, and that's why Doc is all over Rodney Mott. He was the slot official.
Actually, it's not on Horford. They put a 5 and 2, not 4 and 2. 5 plus 2 is 7, so that's going to be against Jaylen Brown.
What Doc's upset about was the slot official didn't make the call. That's why it was a late whistle. Zach Zarba thought he saw more contact, and he came with the late whistle. In fairness, James Harden misses a free throw right there, but James Harden's gone to the rim twice. He almost didn't get the call either time, and there was a lot of contact both times.
You know, obviously they've changed the rules in the last few years. Harden kind of that jerks the neck back as he drives, got that call so often earlier in his career. Not as much the last couple of years as he splits the pair.
Call it flopping now in college. If he went back to Arizona State, he wouldn't get the call, but he'd score about 100 points.
8-8 is the score. Harden's first point of game 2 after 45 in game 1.
Talking about MVPs, that is the league MVP in 2018.
2 of them on the floor for Philly tonight as Tatum drives against Embiid, and as he tried to use his right shoulder to get by Joel, he got the contact. And that's going to be 2 on Joel Embiid.
Wow, called it on PJ.
Okay. The scorers crew had already given Embiid number 2, so we got a lot of different jerseys tonight. You got a 17, you got 91s and 99s. Got to do some mathematics when the officials give their signals as Tatum goes to the line and hits the first of 2. Untying game 2, 9-8 here in the early stages.
Well, where the confusion really comes in those single-digit numbers, the refs have both hands up, and you can't tell when it's a 7 or a 20 foul on 25 or foul on 52. You got to watch what's going on.
Tatum back at the free throw line, averaging nearly 29 points per game in the postseason. Hits the second as well. 8th postseason game. Remember, Boston needed 6 games to get past the Atlanta Hawks in round 1. 10-8 in favor of the Celtics. 7 minutes to go, first quarter. Tyrese Maxey front court, accelerates to the left wing. Derek White defending. Maxey with a dribble. Embiid sets a screen. Maxey comes across the top, bounces it to Joel. 7 to shoot. 20 feet away, faces up, shoots it over Horford. Missed the shot. Tucker had position, and he's fouled underneath the basket. A loose ball foul is going to go on Jason Tatum.
P.J. Tucker didn't get a lot of points, but he did a lot of damage on the offensive glass, and he's starting out that way again.
First time out of game 2 at 6:48 to go. Opening quarter for Boston. Celtics 10, the 76ers 8. And you're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
In terms of it being a failure for the Clippers, I would probably say it looked like they were going to be the smartest thing in the room, but they got a grade of about a 77 on the test. They've got an opportunity over the next 2 years to retake the test. They could study up and see if they could get a higher score. Can they get into the 99%? Can they get into the 98%? Because with them healthy, they certainly are one of the top 3-4 teams in the NBA. But if you are in a situation where you got a guy half the season and the other guy gets hurt, and you get another guy half the season, then playoff time comes and you get a guy for 1 or 2 games, you're not going to win very many games. You're not going to go very far. But I think, without them doing it,
with Garrett Wilson. Okay, offensive line. There's no doubt in my mind that it will be better than what we saw last year, but I think there's reasonable questions just of how much better it will be and what it will look like.
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mike Greenberg. Green.
Steph Curry has elevated his standing historically. I think he has now gone from, of course he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Sure, he's one of the most beloved players ever. Yes, he changed the game with that long distance shooting, but he's not really one of the best players that ever lived. He's not on a level with LeBron or even KD. I think those days are over.
Greeny. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
Kevin Richard with you inside our Granger studio. Don't forget to log on to our Twitter account at NBA on ESPN Radio to vote in the AutoZone in this old poll question. Who's going to get in the zone for tonight's game 2? Sixers and Celtics. These 4 are pretty obvious. Tatum, Brown, Harden, Embiid. Yes, Joel's back if you don't know. In the zone, brought to you by AutoZone. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Tight game in the early going. Boston by 2, 6:48 remaining. Back to the opening quarter at TD Garden with PJ Carlissimo. Here's Mark Kessler.
We were waiting for someone to get in the zone. These numbers aren't quite the same as what they had in game 1.
Yes, I'm looking at the box score from the other night. Philadelphia was 50-40-90 as a team. Actually 50-45-100. And Boston wasn't far behind. 59-39-94. How about right now? Sixers are shooting 20%, the Celtics 30%, and Boston's 1 for 6 from 3. Philadelphia's 1 for 5. We've had no offense yet. I'll credit the defense a little bit, but more poor offense.
Tatum and Brown say, not our fault. We're 3 for 4 for all 10 Boston points.
Exactly.
Waiting for everybody else to join the party. Side out of bounds, Philadelphia front court. P.J. Tucker got it into Tyrese Maxey. Phillies down 2, 10-8, 6:42 to go in the first. Tried to pass it inside. Horford got a hand on it, trying to find Tobias Harris. Robert Williams in for the first time out of the timeout for Boston. Here's Jaylen Brown at the top, looks to dunk in, instead will pass to the mid-post left. It's Horford banging against Tucker twice. A rolling lefty hook not there. And Williams, the offensive rebound, feeding Tatum, who's doubled in the corner. Tatum will pass it off to Brown. 10 to shoot. Brown will drive hard against Embiid. Flips it off the glass and in.
First offensive rebound of the game by the Time Lord, and it pays off.
Just into the game and helping out the Celtics to a 4-point lead. James Harden out on the right. Comes around the Tucker screen and wheels it into Tucker in the right corner. He loves to shoot that 3. Instead drives. Had it blocked by Williams. Robert Williams authoring himself into the scorebook early with a block. Tatum probing on the other end. Boston looking to build on the 4-point lead. Jaylen Brown fouled as he drove the baseline left, and he was cut off by James Harden, who commits the blocking foul. That is the 4th team foul against Philadelphia, so side out coming for Boston in the front court. George Niang is in.
Robert Williams III is ready to play.
Yes, he is. George Niang is in. P.J. Tucker will head to the bench. Malcolm Brogdon, the sixth man of the year in the NBA, checking in for the Celtics. Off the inbound, Jaylen Brown rises from the high post, missed the jumper, rebound Harden. Quick outlet, tipped by Horford on the near left side, intended for Maxey, knocked out of bounds.
Tyrese Maxey did a very good job that time defensively contesting Jaylen Brown. He really struggled to get that jump shot over Maxey.
Maxey will inbound. If the Celtics can get the effort from Robert Williams they got in the postseason last year, they're going to be in business here in the postseason. Down 1-0. Here's Harden off the inbound. Zigzag dribble to the right side of the high post. Backs up, 15-footer. All net. Philly down 2.
Both bigs in the game for Boston right now, Horford and Williams.
Derek White at the point will dribble and pass to Brown. Hand off to White. Darts down the right post against Maxey, who stays in front. Cuts him off. White wheels, nothing doing. Sends it outside to Horford and now to Jaylen Brown with 8. Brown tried to split a double and he drew contact. It was Harris and Niang at the top, and Niang commits the personal, and Philly is over the limit.
Derek White's been struggling a little bit offensively. He's had such an excellent year for the Celtics, but part of that was not just his outstanding defense. He leads all guards in the East in block shots. He's a really good perimeter defender, but he shot the ball well all year. Best he shot it from 3 really improved, and he's struggling right now on the offensive end.
Game 1, limited just 4 points. Jaylen Brown, who had 23 in the opener, converts on the first of 2. Paul Reed checking into the Philadelphia lineup for the 76ers. Reed filled in for Embiid in the 3 games that Joel missed, and he was terrific. Grant Williams coming in for Boston, who kind of been on the milk carton for Boston's rotation.
Out of the rotation. He only played 4 minutes in game 1, but going back to what you said about Paul Reed, boy, did he play a good game. Wasn't just what he did making the free throws at the end, which everybody remembers. It's funny how when you make free throws, they don't seem as important. They were enormous free throws that he made, but he was solid. He rebounded, he defended. He really gave him a big lift.
Free throws good by Jaylen Brown. 14-10 Boston. 4-point lead. 5:05 clock running first quarter. Harden using the Reed screen. Gets to the right. Handoff Niang, who dribbles with the left hand into the paint. Stops mid-post. Flips it up with the right hand. Won't get the roll. Robert Williams taps it out all the way to the far edge, but out of bounds. It'll go to Philly with 14 on the shot clock.
Well, it's a team rebound, not an individual rebound, but same result. They're going to get the ball again.
Tobias Harris inbound with Harden, Niang, Reed, and Maxey. Inbound to James Harden with Embiid getting the rest on the bench. Philadelphia down by 4. Harden gets a screen. Brogdon's on him. Blocked the shot, and it goes off of Harden and out of bounds. Nice job, Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon, because you mentioned 6th man of the year, actually struggling a little bit so far in the playoffs. Now, there haven't been that many games. This is the 8th game for the Celtics, but not shooting the ball. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire NBA, and he's under 30% so far in the playoffs.
Doc Rivers makes one more adjustment, PJ, as DeAnthony Melton checks in for Tyrese Maxey.
Boy, did he play well Monday night.
Here's Brogdon, front court, Boston up 4. Brogdon hesitates, moves against Paul Reed. Got him off his feet. Reed might have got a hand on that pass, turnover. Philadelphia coming from right to left. Harden accelerates into White, knocks him off the spot, and extends the left hand with a finger roll in.
Yes, he did knock him off the spot, but he ended up right where he spent most of Monday, right at the rim shooting layups.
Subi takes over with Embiid on the bench. Harden's got 5, Philly's down 2. 14-12, 4:14 to go in the first. Jaylen Brown, crossover to the left against Niang. Tucks in the left shoulder, 10-footer up, and gets the roll for Jaylen Brown. He's got 11 in the first quarter.
And a long step. Niang thought he had him cut off. Doc Rivers is motioning for a travel. It was a long step by Jaylen.
Harden crossover, free throw line, got a foul. Brogdon on him as the shot goes no good. James Harden will get to the free throw line at 3:57 to go in the first. Terrific start, PJ, for Jaylen Brown. Still wearing that dark black mask. Remember, he had the facial fracture. 11 first quarter points.
Did he play a game? I think it wasn't a game we had. I thought someone said he played a game without it and actually went back to it.
Yeah.
Or played at least
Took it off,
part of the game. And, he seems more comfortable with it.
Harden at the free throw line. First of 2 is good. You've seen that throughout your career, too. Guys get used to it. It's almost a comfort. A psychological comfort.
Was it Rip Hamilton? Somebody played with it for the longest time.
Yep. Back in the Piston days.
Saw Rip during Connecticut's excellent run in the NCAA tournament.
Here's Harden's second free throw, good as well. James Harden, 7 points. Philadelphia back within 2, 16-14 Celtics, 3:50 and counting to go here in our first quarter, game 2. Brown with 11 points from the right against Melton, goes left side to Derek White. White gets rid of it, back to Brown. Shot clock at 10. Brown top of the arc, puts it on the deck, drives into the lane, off balance. Jumper's good. 13 in the first quarter for Jaylen Brown.
He had a 20-point quarter earlier in the year. Jaylen Brown, when he gets it going, watch out.
Philadelphia looking for the answer, down 4. Harden wheels at the top of the arc, pass to Melton on the left, drives down low to Reed. Reed against Williams, nothing doing, passes out to Melton, who hits the dotted line jumper.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the MVP from the G League. He's playing very well, Paul Reed.
18-16, Boston's lead shaved to 2. White finds a baseline cutting Brogdon under the basket, out to the corner. Grant Williams missed a 3, and it's rebounded by the Sixers and James Harden.
Early in the year, he was shooting almost 50% from 3. Look at this shot.
Harden fouled, off balance, launched a rainbow that missed, and Harden ended up in the first row on the far side. Going to get 3 free throws.
No, I think Zach.
Oh, he called it before the shot.
No, well, let's see what he signals over
there.
There
It is. In the bonus, so he'll get 2.
Yeah.
On the 15th foul against Boston in the quarter. Timeout at TD Garden with 2:59 to go in the first. It is the Celtics 18 and the 76ers 16. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Is your check engine light on? The free Fix Finder service reads your check engine, ABS, and maintenance lights. It even sends a detailed report directly to your email. When you need to get back on the road, AutoZone's free Fix Finder service is here. Get the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. Only at AutoZone. Get in zone, AutoZone. See details at AutoZone.com.
Finally, baseball is back. Swing into the season with tickets to the action. Plus, with basketball and hockey heating up, now is a great time to experience a game. Vivid Seats is proud to be the official ticketing partner of ESPN. From on the glass to in the stands, Vivid Seats has great ticket prices to all the games. Every crack of the bat, every dribble down the court. Catch it all with Vivid Seats. Download the app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs. Visit FanDuel.com/play.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP at 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KESGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. GamblingHelplineMA.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Kevin Winter with you inside our Granger studio. You know, there's no place like home, which is brought to you by Angie. With Angie, it's easier than ever to get home projects done well. Get started on the Angie app or go to Angie.com. There's no place like home, except if you're a Boston sports fan. The last 4 games inside of TD Garden, Celtics blow the big lead to the Hawks in Game 5, have to win on the road in Game 6. The Bruins lose Game 5 to the Panthers. Then on Sunday night, become the best team in the NHL history to lose in the first round. And then on Monday, the Celtics lose without Embiid playing for the Sixers. Mark Chester, PJ Carlissimo, back to you in the building.
Hey, no, how come you're not talking about my Kraken?
The Kraken with the overtime game winner last night.
Unbelievable how well they're playing, and I still can't believe we saw a couple of Bruins in the restaurant last night. I was going to buy a pasta sweater. He plays in our buddy Sean McDonough's tournament every year, but boy, I'll tell you what, have the best record in the history of the NHL.
Yeah,
best regular season.
President's Cup, most points. as James Harden hits the first of two. Depressing, I guess, would be the word for the end of the season, and certainly compounded by the Celtics losing game one of this series. They've got the lead in game two, and Harden's second free throw goes in to tie the game at 18 with 2:59 to go in the first. Embiid was 0 for 2 in his early minutes. The MVP coming back from a knee injury, still on the bench. It's Grant Williams for Boston. Dribbles between the circles. Robert Williams sets the high screen. Brogdon dribbles to the right. Now terminates and bounce passes it across to the left to Marcus Smart with 6 to shoot. Smart on the drive. Throws it up and throws it in. Jalen McDaniels for the 76ers in for the first time tonight.
But Doc's going to his bench pretty early.
Yes, he is. Harden, the only starter on the floor. Received the pass. Dicey from Melton. Lost it, had to chase it down on the near left side. Here's Harden, crossover to the right. Pulls for a deep one, a three, in and out, pops out. Wow.
How about halfway down it came out?
Robert Williams, the rebound. Boston by 2 in the ball. Pass to Tatum, a bad one. McDaniels had the interception, if you will. I know we just saw Devin McCourty, who's in the crowd here, but it went off his hands and out of bounds. Boston will keep.
Jalen McDaniels is so long. Look at his arms and legs. He gets, tell you what, he does a really good job extending and denying his man the ball.
And his brother Jaden's also long in Minnesota, one of the best defenders. And this time, Brogdon nails a triple over the long arms of McDaniels.
Well, you knew he'd get it going. I mean, he was number 4 in the league and shot 4-4-4 from 3 for the entire year.
5-point lead for the Celtics, 23-18, under 2 minutes to go first quarter. Low scoring first. Harden shovels it into the right corner. McDaniels right back to Harden. Takes 2 defenders. Up top to McDaniels. Open 3. No. Tatum rebounds. Quick outlet to Smart. Marcus into the front court along the right sideline. Dribbles. Now stops. Cuts to the top. Now accelerates into the lane. Push shot with the left hand off the back iron. No. And Paul Reed has the board.
Good penetration. Just couldn't finish. Good look by Marcus Smart.
Embiid getting set to check in. Next dead ball. Here's Harden pulling for 3 on top. Missed it. Reed taps it, but controlled by Malcolm Brogdon. McDaniels nearly got a hand in to steal it. Brogdon, nice 360 to keep. Now to Tatum. Knocks down the defender. Offensive foul as George Niang set up there. Tatum, I guess, is thinking he didn't even have a chance to turn, but Zach Zarba calls the offensive foul.
I thought it was a good play by Niang, but before he tried to stay in front of Jaylen Brown. I'm actually surprised to see him in those matchups, but I thought that was a good call. He hit him right between the number.
Tatum was arguing more that he was moving now that I read his lips, but that's 2 on Jason Tatum.
Yeah, that's big.
1:03 to go, first quarter. Embiid, Maxey back in for Philadelphia. Harden getting a rest. Maxey from the left. Under a minute to go in the first, and Embiid knocked down on the perimeter by Grant Williams, who kind of looks at Joel to say, you didn't have to fall down in a heap like that. Made it look like he got knocked down by a linebacker. Williams is first.
Grant Williams is strong. That looked like somebody being polite. That is an absolute flop.
That was just like a tiny little hip check, thigh check, and Joel crumpled to the ground as if he got knocked over by a bulldozer. You could hear the crowd reacting, seeing the replay. Even Doc versus
Doc's laughing.
I think he's to some of the fans.
I think he was at Jason's family, sits behind Jason Tatum. Doc certainly knows where people sit in this building.
Embiid hits the first of 2 with 56 seconds to go. Opening quarter, trailing the Celtics are the Sixers 23-19.
There's a banner from this ceiling that Doc Rivers had a lot to do with putting up there.
416 wins as head coach of the Celtics over 9 seasons, including that 2008 championship. Embiid hits both free throws, Philly within 3. 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Grant Williams at the point, left to right into the front court. The left-hand dribble will go to Robert Williams, looking to pass. Now goes for Tatum, a little too far, but Tatum comes up with it. Baseline knocked away. It's loose, still loose on the floor. Grant Williams has it, and in play finds Marcus Smart at the top, 4 to shoot. Smart will rise. Three-pointer good with 32 seconds to go in the first. A lot of hustle here in this first quarter for Boston. Diving for loose balls. They got a 6-point lead.
That's really been the only evidence. I thought we might see a difference in energy. I'll give you Philadelphia's been on the floor. Marcus Smart twice already, once against P.J. Tucker. Maybe a little bit more energy than the Sixers so far. Certainly more energy than the Celtics played with first half on Monday.
Half a minute to go, first quarter, about 10 seconds difference on the shot clock. Embiid has it, top of the circle, faces up on the smaller. Grant Williams swipes a right hand at him. Embiid launches and connects. and gets. Well, he fell down. I don't know if he got knocked down at half court as he picks himself up. Philly down 4.
He tripped on the midcourt line.
Marcus Smart, shot clock off. 10 seconds to go in the first. Dribbling on the left sideline. Tatum sets a screen, now backs off. Smart on the drive. 2 big steps, blocked by Embiid. Smart got it back with 2. Short jumper, up and in with 4/10 of a second to go in the quarter. Inbound to Milton. First quarter clock expires, and the Boston Celtics will get a standing ovation here with a 6-point lead after 1 quarter.
Well, the good news, Joel Embiid knocks down a 3 if you're a Sixer fan and blocks 2 shots. So he looks all right. The bad news, Boston is much more focused than they were in game 1.
After 12 minutes of play, game 2, Boston 28, Philadelphia 22. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? With these prices, we'd barely be scraping by if it weren't for Dave. It's the banking app that advances us up to $500 instantly. There's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. No joke. You can get extra cash for anything your family needs. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Daily Wager Instant Analysis.
Game 2 in Boston is a great spot to back the Celtics. They were embarrassed in Game 1 against the Sixers. James Harden turned back the clock 7 years going for 45. Those things shouldn't happen in Game 2. Over the last 3 postseasons, home teams who have lost Game 1 come back in Game 2, covering 14 of 15 occasions. This is a great spot to lay the number with the Celtics, even as large as it is.
Yo, check this out from Canty and Carlin.
If we're going to start talking about a 5th championship for Steph Curry with everything that he has accomplished in his career, and I don't think we're close to the end of the road here, we're completely changing the dynamic of what his spot is in the history of the game, and the fact that the Golden State Warriors are not that old. They just continue to get it done. He was on the outside looking in. He's not anymore when it comes to being a top 5 player of all time.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Kevin Wentz out of Granger Studio. 1 quarter complete in Boston in game 2.
Knocked away, it's loose. Still loose on the floor. Grant Williams has it, and his play finds Marcus Smart at the top. 4 to shoot. Smart will rise. 3-pointer good with 32 seconds to go in the first. A lot of hustle here in this first quarter for Boston.
PJ Carlissimo mentioned the Celtics' effort. Our coach, a 4-time champion, a 4-time coach, and assistant on the Dream Team. Also, as we go back to Mark Tessler and PJ to start the second quarter, guys, if you recall after game 1, Jason Tatum said the Celtics were not connected defensively. 28-22, there's defense. I feel like I'm watching the Knicks and the Heat, a repeat from last night, just quarter number 5.
Philly shooting just 6 of 20, PJ 30%. Outside of Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, it's been a struggle for Boston.
Yeah, it really has. And the good news defensively, 1 for 9 Philadelphia from the 3-point line. That was the difference in the game. Philadelphia shot it so well from the 3-point line on Monday. Celtics started 3 for 10. Looked like they were struggling too, but then 7 for 13 since. More importantly, 3 for 9. It's not great, but the way these two teams have started from the 3-point line, that's a good sign for the C's.
Just joining us, Joel Embiid, who was named the most valuable player of the NBA last night, back in the lineup after the knee sprain. 1 for 3 in the first quarter, played nearly 8 minutes, 6 points. He is in to start this second quarter. James Harden is leading Philadelphia with 9 points, starts the quarter on the bench.
Well, I tell you, Joel Embiid is towering over Robert Williams III and Al Horford. When you see him standing next to him, he looks 5 inches bigger.
So huge. At a Cameroon. Here's a pass over the top. Reverse jam, alley-oop. Tatum finding Smart right off the chalkboard of Joe Mazzulla to open up quarter 2.
Yeah, and I wish people would shut up about Joe Mazzulla. They've had a great year. Best year they've had in a long time. He's done an exceptional job, and all the second-guessers immediately panic.
30-22 Boston, and Tyrese Maxey penetrates and scores. Celtics lead down to 6.
Max didn't know who he had.
Here's Brogdon pulling an early clock 3 and knocking it down from the top. You're right, he had struggled in the first 7 games.
That's a good sign. Again, he and Horford, they have two of the best 4 3-point shooters in the NBA, the Boston Celtics.
6 for Brogdon, 9-point lead Celtics. Melton off the high screen, drives down deep, lost control, tried to put up a shot, didn't score. Down the other way, Tatum accelerates, gets by Embiid, blocked by Embiid at the rim. Great timing by Joel. Here's Maxey on the other end, gets by Brogdon and scores on the lay-in.
Tyrese can get to the rim anytime he wants, but especially when he's going downhill in transition.
3 blocks in game 2 so far for Joel Embiid.
And not run-of-the-mill blocks, good blocks. Active, came from the weak side and got up to get him.
Brogdon from the right, drives into the lane against Melton, pass out to the left, Tatum's got it, McDaniels on him. Now drives into McDaniels, got the contact. McDaniels will pick up his first personal, late clock, 10:23 to go here in this second quarter. Waiting to see if Zach Zarba is going to call active shooting. He will. So 2 free throws are coming for Jason Tatum. First foul on McDaniels.
Joe's in an animated discussion with Zach. I don't know what he's talking about, but certainly happy with that call. He must have not been happy on the other end.
34 years of age, youngest coach in the NBA, Joe Mazzulla, as Tatum hits the first. And you're right. I mean, here he was in September learning he was taken over as the interim head coach.
September 23rd.
That went to the finals. And all he did was 57 regular season wins, the most for the Celtics since that guy on the other end of the floor, Doc Rivers, was head coach here.
How about 6 more wins than last year's team that went to the finals? I mean, what do you want him to do? Stand on his head?
Tatum hits both free throws. 9-point lead, Boston, 35-26. Sixers with it, opening 2 minutes, quarter 2. Maxey dribbles out to the left wing. Smart defending on the perimeter. Maxey will pass to the right to DeAnthony Melton. Beyond the arc with 6 to shoot. Drives into the lane. 3 defenders there. Flips it up. Missed it. Brogdon's got the rebound. Malcolm into the front court. Melton riding on his hip. Now he cuts into the lane. Got a hand on the ball. And there's going to be a foul called on Melton, who thought he tied him up. And 2 free throws coming from Malcolm Brogdon.
Both teams seem to be attacking the rim more and running more early second quarter. It's going up and down a little bit, and it's not going up and down with passing. It's whoever gets that outlet pass just taking it right to the rim.
We're watching the replay. That was close. Maybe half of Melton's hand was on the basketball. The other half was on the wrist. Hence the foul as Brogdon hits the first of 2.
Now Malcolm Brogdon off to a very good start.
Well, early in the game, there wasn't much bench scoring at all, but now Brogdon's up to 7 points. 6th man of the year this year. Averaged nearly 15 points off the bench as he hits 2 free throws there. Biggest lead for the Celtics, up 11, 37-26.
He's also an excellent free throw shooter, 23rd in the league at 87%.
9:45 to go, first half. Joel Embiid takes the pass on the 3-point line, bounces it to Harden in traffic, flipped it up, missed, got his own rebound. Harden dribbles out to the right wing. Tatum will defend him with 9 to shoot. Between the legs dribble, cross to the left, into the lane, lost the handle but got fouled. Tatum trying to stay in front. They're going to call the foul on Grant Williams, who came over to help.
Good thing it wasn't on Tatum.
That would have been 3. Instead, it's 2 on Grant Williams as James Harden turning back the clock performance in game 1.
I'm telling you, I talked to James before the game and I walked over, and people don't, he's 33 years old. I mean, not that that's ancient. I'll tell you what, you don't have a game like that if you don't work day in, day out. I mean, that's the residual effect of a lot of days of work for him to have. He didn't just have a good day. That's the reward for how hard he's worked throughout his career. And to me, he's in the best shape. You picture James the last couple of years, looked a little heavier. That might have had a different size pair of trunks than he's wearing right now.
We remarked a couple times that he looked in way better shape this year. Harden hits both free throws, and even he remarked he was even surprised he still had that kind of game like he had in game 1.
Hats off to him for that Monday night. That was, tell you what, back-to-back, watching Steph Curry on Sunday and then watching James Harden on Monday.
There's Brogdon on the drive, missed, defended well by Tobias Harris. Philly down 9, in possession, 9:15 to go in the half. Harden from the left wing. Jaylen Brown defending on the perimeter. Harden will pass off to Harris, now to Maxey at the break on the right. His 3 on the way, will miss it. Robert Williams, great position, got the rebound.
Spacing wasn't that good. They had too many people near each other.
Here's Smart stepping into a 3, missed it. Tobias Harris has the board for Philly. Harris busts into the front court to the left, driving into two defenders. Short jumper good for Tobias Harris.
Here we go again. A rebound, full court dribble. They're just attacking each other in transition. And candidly, neither team's doing an exceptional job with their transition defense.
Boston's lead down to 7, 37-30, 8.5 to go, second quarter. Jaylen Brown beyond the stripe, dribbles once, terminates. Harris comes to defend, gets rid of it to Robert Williams. Now to Grant Williams, wide open corner three, straight down the well for Grant Williams.
And that was his trademark, those corner jumpers.
That's his first triple. Maxey end-to-end on the other side, lays it up and in. Like a blur, both teams getting some early offense.
I'm just going to lay out, Kesty, because whoever gets the rebound or the outlet pass is going coast to coast.
8-point lead, Boston, 40-32, coming up on 8 minutes to go in the half. A little bit more deliberate half-court offense. Jaylen Brown and the Celtics, right of the circle, over to Brogdon. Dribble in the lane, floater on the way. Good. Brogdon now with 10 off the bench.
I'll tell you what, Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart are both very aggressive on the offensive end.
42-32, Celtics up 10 points. Maxey quickly into the front court. Now he'll pass to Harden. He'll set it up. Goes to Embiid. He's left of the circle. Back to the basket. Tucker left corner. Return pass tipped away, but Embiid chased it down. Got it with 10 to shoot. Gives it up to Harden at the top. Harden between the circles. Dribbles between the legs. Pulls a deep three. Missed. And Williams has the rebound. Robert for Boston.
Grant Williams is doing a good job denying Embiid the ball, making him work to catch it.
Pass Grant Williams. Return pass to Brown. Went for the jam and another block. Right at the 10 by Embiid, his fourth. Here's Harris the other way. Over to Harden. Into the corner it goes and back to James with 7 minutes to go in the half. Fires it down low to Embiid, who wheels and gets fouled by Robert Williams right in the low box at 7:05 to go in the second.
I know he can play better. He's the MVP in the league, but I got news for you. He's got 4 blocks already. He just ran the floor, got down there and went up strong. Joel Embiid looks pretty good to me for almost 2 weeks off.
The newly minted most valuable player, Giannis, won back-to-back. The Joker, Nikola Jokic, back-to-back. And the man who was second to Jokic each of the last 2 years, Joel Embiid, winning his first as he hits the first of 2 free throws.
You can't quibble with any of those 3 being selected as MVP. What surprised me was how dominant the vote was. I just didn't see that. I mean, it could have been a lot closer. You look at Jokic's year, you could argue it's better than the last 2.
Yes.
And to be that distant a runner-up, that's a little strange.
It is 42-34 after the made free throws by Embiid. 6:57 to go. First half, Boston been leading most of the way. Brogdon out on the left, defended by Embiid. Drives him to the free throw line, down the low blocks. Another block. That's number 5 on Embiid. Like a cat got the handout. Here's Maxey on the other end. Layup. No. Weak side rebound. Yes, on the putback by Tobias Harris. And Embiid was slow getting up. Looks like he's all right. He's kind of hiking up the leggings surrounding that right knee, but 5 blocked shots in his return from injury.
Well, they're certainly concerned. Kevin Johnson, the trainer, is going to look at the knee, but there's nothing the matter with that right arm because he's blocked 5 shots already.
6:41 to go, first half, game 2. Celtics had an 11-point lead. It is down to 6. Boston 42, Philadelphia 36, and you're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
Thursday on Fitz and Harry, we'll get you ready for Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors and tell you why one future Hall of Famer needs to step up.
And a full breakdown of the Golden Knights. I'm just kidding. I'm sure we'll talk Aaron Rodgers. Fitz and Harry, Thursday, noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Steph's got it. He's double teamed. Draymond now pull 3 for the tie. No good.
LeBron James and the Lakers steal home court advantage away from the Warriors with a huge Game 1 win in San Francisco. How will Golden State respond? Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
Coming up Thursday, we'll recap all the playoff action and get you ready for Game 2 of Lakers-Warriors. You're going to hear right here on ESPN Radio. Keyshawn, J. Willimax, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point. with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Jordan Poole, you are not 30. You are not 30. And if I just watch 30, give me a 50-point master class.
Like 26.
He's a number below 30, whatever that is, Key. But if I just watch 30, give me a master class in Game 7 in Sacramento on the road. Like, I know that you got the bag. And this has been an ongoing theme that this team has to work through, whether it's Steph calling them out in the huddle or, Draymond Green trying to grab his hand. He saw in game 6 when they were getting smacked at home and Jordan didn't want to deal with it. At some juncture, like, I need you to give the ball back to 30 and not take a shot 7 feet behind the three-point line with 8 seconds left to go in the game. I just don't like the shot. I mean, I don't know why you can't take a dribble closer.
Kevin Richard with you inside our Granger Studios. Let's go inside the numbers tonight. Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's really inside the numbers and a compilation between games 1 and 2. Back in game 1, no Joel Embiid. The 76ers had 5 blocks. 2 of them came off the bench from Melton. You had 1 from Harris, 1 from Reed. They eventually totaled up 5 all total. To me, only 4 blocks. 4 blocks in game number 1. Tonight, Embiid's got 5 on his own. The team's got 6. So, Kesty and PJ, what I'm saying is, in game 1, they only had 4. Tonight, Embiid has more than game 1. There we go, Kev. Back to you guys.
I love it. And Embiid, who had kind of landed a little bit awkwardly after that 5th block shot, went to the bench. He's back out on the floor, so that's good news. Of course, dealing with a bulky right knee that missed the last couple of weeks, PJ.
And he's played 13 minutes and 15 seconds already. I don't think Doc would consider that short minutes, would you?
I don't think so. He had his hands on his hips moments ago, but now defending in the lane. Pass to Jaylen Brown at a great first quarter, and that's his first points of quarter 2, a triple from outside.
Second time, excellent execution out of the timeout. Credit Joe Mazzulla.
16 for Brown, and the Celtics go back up 9, 45-36. 6:14 left in the half. Embiid receives a bounce pass at the top, fires down low. Harris wasn't there, but fortunate. Derek White knocked it out of bounds. It'll stay with Philly as Paul Reed gets set to enter the lineup, and Embiid's going to get a little rest here with 6:09 to go in the first half.
How about points in the paint, Kesty, this quarter? 10 points in the paint already. It's not post-ups, it's coast-to-coast drives, mainly by Tyrese Maxey.
Who's going to inbound for Philly right now with 7 to shoot. Lobs it into Reed on the left wing. Dribble handoff Harris. Harris crossed to the left, pulls from 16, missed it off the rim, and rebounded by Tatum.
Good D by Jaylen Brown.
Jason Tatum into the front court under 6 minutes to go, second quarter. Steps back on Reed, shoots a 3, around and out. Rebounded by Harden. Long court pass to Reed. Great pass, and Reed dunks it home. How about Harden with about a 60-foot outlet right on the money?
Joe Mazzulla cannot be happy with the transition defense of his team this quarter.
7-point lead Celtics. Here's Tatum driving right into Tucker, knocked him down. We got a whistle, and it's going to be an offensive foul, and foul number 3 on Jason Tatum. 5.5 minutes to go here in the half.
Careful, he's going to get a tee. He's barking at Rodney Mott. Malcolm Brogdon comes in for him. That was, I thought, again, a good call, Kesty. P.J. Tucker was in front of him. Jason Tatum's a little frustrated. He's only got 7 points, and he's 1 for 4 from the field. Fortunately, he's got the 5 free throws, but it has not been a good evening so far for Jason Tatum.
7 points, and right now nailed to the Celtics bench with foul trouble. Philadelphia has it, trying to dig out of this 7-point deficit. Harden at the top against the masked man, Jason Tatum. Cross goes to the left, beats him. Now puts up a shot blocked by Horford at the cup. Harden's down on the other end, up slowly. Here's a 5-on-4 Celtics. Foul shot off the top of the backboard by Derek White, and no good. Harden's okay, was just late getting back, and the Philadelphia foul is going to be on Tyrese Maxey, his second.
Smart play by Derek. He didn't wait. Derek White just put his head down and went right to the rim, got himself a trip. He's been struggling from the field, 0 for 3, but he's an excellent foul shooter.
I think these Celtics did some film work on James Harden, rotating over and helping. We've seen a lot of deflections at the rim, both ways.
Without question, but I'll tell you what they're going to be looking at halftime. They're going to look at a couple of, coaches, the video coordinator will have some things dialed up. There's going to be some transition defense or lack thereof that Boston's going to be looking at.
Derek White at the line, hit the first free throw, his first point of game 2. Grant Williams checks out of the lineup. Marcus Smart is in.
I think what Grant Williams did the best was make Joel Embiid really work to get the ball on top. Very good job denying him, making him really work.
White's second free throw good. 5:10 to play second quarter. Boston leading game 2, 47-38 over Philadelphia, trying to even the series before it heads south to Philly. Tucker takes the pass. His handoff went through Harris, but Tucker was there fortunately. Now to Harden dancing on the three-point line and an offensive foul. Tucker handed it off and then ran into the Celtic player. We'll get a look at it here. I think he was just trying to get by Brown, but he got right into the shoulder, made contact.
Oh, yeah, he hit him. He kind of swung his arm. I'm actually surprised they're not looking at that.
Yeah, we got a better angle.
Watch Sam swing his arm?
Yeah.
No call. No review.
Boston will inbound it with under 5 minutes to go in the half. Tucker, 2 fouls. Marcus Smart directing traffic, the longest tenured member of the Celtics. Hits Brown on the curl in the corner, wide open. Horford 3, no. Tapped out. Benda Horford. Reload 3, good for Al Horford. Doc Rivers jumps off the Philly bench. Timeout as Boston has taken a 12-point lead.
Boy, Al Horford was 1 for 3 from downtown and didn't look good. After that offensive rebound, he had it like a hot potato. He shot it so quick, nothing but net.
Al Horford, one-time 76er back in Boston, and he's given the Celtics a 12-point advantage. 50-38 over Philadelphia. Timeout, 4:41 to go, first half. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
Saturday on ESPN Radio.
The wall gone! A blast from Rizzo.
It's a showdown in the AL East when the New York Yankees head to the Trop to face the first-place Tampa Bay Rays.
Liner out there again, and Arozarena pokes it to right field, and it's gone! Unbelievable!
The Yankees at the Rays. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
Basketball champion Stephen Curry and soccer superstar Alex Morgan want you to join the PGA Junior League team.
PGA Junior League is a fun team golf experience for kids that the entire family can enjoy.
Boys and girls learn the game from PGA and LPGA professionals and have a great time with friends.
Find your team and get ready for a fun and exciting PGA Junior League season.
I want to see you out playing in your jersey and having fun.
Visit PGAJuniorLeague.com.
Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
And Arthur Smith, Falcons head coach Bijan Robinson, what did you guys love about the player to make him the pick?
We're so excited to get Bijan in our program. I mean, he's made of all the right characteristics we look for. And then obviously he's a phenomenal football player. And he's a lot more than just a running back. He's an explosive guy with the ball in his hands and just another piece with that'll fit in here because we've got a lot of versatile players, skill players on our offense.
Fitz and Harry, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Who has become your draft? I think A.T. Perry could be pretty good. Oh, there we go.
Listen to the College Game Day podcast with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Kevin Winter inside our Granger studio. Coming up on the AutoZone halftime report, we're going to look ahead to the Warriors and Lakers game 2 tomorrow night, which we have here on ESPN Radio beginning at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And it's a combination look ahead, look back to what happened last night as the Lakers stunned Golden State in San Francisco. And with a chance to tie the game, the Warriors had Jordan Poole chuck up a 27-footer. Mark Kessler, PJ Calissimo, that's tomorrow night. Tonight we're back in Boston. Celtics trying to even the series against Philly. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. How about Anthony Davis? 30 points. 23 rebounds. They couldn't do anything inside against
when Anthony Davis plays like that, That's when he's one of the best 5-6 players in the entire NBA. They have a chance when he plays like that, and he gets the kind of help he got from his teammates. D'Angelo Russell was really good. I thought Vanderbilt's defense was excellent. That was really a solid team win for the Lakers.
When we talk Jordan Vanderbilt, I think we're talking SEC basketball. Vanderbilt rebounding. Right here, the difference is three-point shooting. Philadelphia's 1 of 11. They've got it, trailing by 12 with 4.5 minutes to go first half.
And don't forget, that was their ace on Monday. That was the difference in the game. Tyrese Maxey's been the difference right now.
Whirling dervish and flips it up and in.
And his shot chart is all in the green paint. He just keeps attacking the rim.
He's got 11, matching James Harden for the team lead. Philly within 10, 4:10 to go in the half. Brown receives the pass, free throw line, jump pass Horford. He's covered outside Brogdon for 3, around and out, and rebounded by Harris. Philly coming from right to left. Harris to Harden using the Harris screen. Harden dribbles, turns beyond the arc toward half court. He's got the matchup he had in that winning game 3 the other night against Horford at the top. Crossover once. Passes to Maxey on the right, 7 to shoot. Maxey darts out to the hash. Now takes on Brown into the lane. Turns inside. Great duck in and puts it off the window.
Tyrese Maxey's having himself a quarter. He's really playing well.
13 points in the game. Philadelphia within 8.
10 this quarter for Tyrese.
Horford drives through the lane, kicks it out to Smart. No look right side Brogdon. He'll go head of steam into the lane, gives it up. 8 seconds to shoot. Smart into Paul Reed. Euros, flips it with a left hand. No, got knocked down, no whistle. And here comes Philly the other way.
Euro sometimes looks like a trap.
Here's Harden at the top. And an offensive foul against Philadelphia. They got Paul Reed that time setting the illegal screen. 3:09 to go here in the half.
Grant Williams back in, I think. Embiid back in. I don't know. I think Joe Mazzulla so far has liked that matchup. Interesting when they go down the other end to see whether Horford or Grant Williams covers Joel Embiid.
About to cross 3-minute mark to go in the half. Derek White front court gets a screen, drives right into the lane. Now will pass it out to a wide open Horford. 3-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Harden.
1 for 5 from downtown.
Maxey has it, darts to the left, passes in the corner to Anthony Melton. He'll drive into the lane, gets deep, he's walled off. Outside Embiid, who gets it to Harden with 10 to shoot. James on the dribble, finds the rolling Embiid, right deep, flips it up and in. Embiid with the bucket, it's a 6-point game.
I kind of like this guy with rust all over him and bad knee. Still looks pretty good.
Embiid with a second bucket, he's got 10. 3 Sixers in double figures, but they trail by 6. Brown with 2:20 to go in the half. To the high post, outside Grant Williams. Puts it over the outstretched arm of Harden. Missed the 3. Derek White chasing the rebound, couldn't get it. And then Tyrese Maxey chasing White, committed the personal. That's 3 on Tyrese Maxey. Here in the first half with 2:16 to go. Crowd recognizing the third foul now on Maxey. Little spark plug for Philadelphia.
Doc Rivers dribbling the ball. It ended up at his feet. He did that pretty well for a lot of years.
4th team foul this quarter against Philly, so it'll be side out of bounds for the Celtics. But first, Doc Rivers going to get Tyrese Maxey out, and the long Jalen Williams, McDaniels coming in.
Tyrese Maxey put up 10 points already in this quarter, and fast break points strongly in front of the Sixers because of Tyrese Maxey.
Robert Williams, Time Lord, checks in for Boston. Grant Williams takes the seat.
So much for that theory that Grant Williams is going to cover Embiid.
Off the inbound, Derek White out on the right, 10 to shoot. Finds Brown into the lane. Pass outside to Smart. Catch and shoot 3. No. Tapped by Williams, but Harden comes up with the board. Outlet quickly, Harris. Down floor, flips to Melton. Open right corner 3. Air ball. Never even came close.
Great look. Didn't catch iron.
1:50 to go in the half. Boston still up 6. Well, that would have cut the lead in half. Here's Jaylen Brown outside at the big first quarter. Turns it over. Harden coming the other way with numbers. Harden down the middle of the floor to Embiid in traffic. Flips it up. No good. He got the foul call. Joel Embiid will head to the free throw line for 2 shots with 1:43 to go in quarter 2.
I'll tell you, Kesty, I'm going to say 75 to 80% of Philadelphia's offense has been in transition. They're just coming down. Doc did talk about that. He said the key when you defend Boston is the first 10 seconds. They're giving them a little bit of their own medicine right now. They're just coming down the floor his rebound and run philosophy from the Brooklyn series.
First free throw is missed by Embiid. These are two of the best free throw shooting teams, regular season and postseason. Philadelphia is the best. And they got a couple of misses at the line, 13 of 15 here in the first half.
Boston's number 4. So
Yeah.
we're talking two excellent free throw shooting teams. The difference, though, Philadelphia, one of the best at getting to the free throw line. Boston hardly ever gets there. They're like Golden State. They shoot so many threes, they don't get very many free throw attempts.
Embiid getting booed at the free throw line as he hits the free throw to make it a 5-point game. 7 straight Philadelphia points, 50-45. Celtics lead, led by as many as a dozen. Here's Smart on the drive. Milton on his hip, flips it up and in. A big bucket for Smart.
That was a tough shot, and he had a defender draped all over him. He just went to the left hand and finished.
Remember, Philly had that nice burst at the end of the half in game 1. Right now they're down 7 in possession, minute 15 to go in the half. Harden on the hash, right side, now dribbles into the right corner, double covered, pass tip, and Milton comes up with it. Around the horn to Niang, 2 to shoot. Niang looking to pass, sees the clock, blocked by Smart out at the free throw line. Smart's got it with a minute to go in the half. Bounce pass to the corner. Derek White's 3 on its way and good. 10-point Celtic lead with a minute to go in the first half.
Yeah, I think Doc's upset with George Niang for not shooting the ball. He had a 3 when he first caught it. He ended up taking a much more difficult shot.
That energizes the crowd here at TD Garden. I'm going to say a virtual must-win tonight. It's only game 2, but Embiid, the MVP, 2 big steps and a jackhammer, 2-handed stuff.
Wow. Strong drive and finish. Neither team would have fouled to give here.
55-47 Boston. Half a minute to go, first half. Marcus Smart working his way into the lane. Spin, short jumper, good. Marcus Smart coming alive here at the end of the half. He's got 13.
And he created a 2-for-1 opportunity for the Celtics.
20 seconds to go in the half. Shot clock difference about 4 seconds. James Harden beats the 8-second count and standing dribble, and he's really mad because George Niang didn't set up where he wanted him.
2 big possessions right here.
Here's Harden inching to the three-point line. Let's fly on a 3. Miss it off the rim. Comes all the way out to Tobias Harris. Shot clock off. He'll take the jumper, and he'll make it with 1.7 to go in the half. Fortuitous bounce there. Inbound Jaylen Brown. Let's fly half-court heave. No good. And we got ourselves an 8-point game. Boston leading at the end of the first half.
There's the difference. Kesty not being able to come up with the defensive rebound. Could have been 10, and Boston shooting for a 12 or 13-point lead. Instead, Philly creeps a little closer.
Jaylen Brown, 16 points. 13 of them came in the first quarter. And at halftime, the Celtics down 1-0 at home, leaving Philadelphia in game 2, 57-49. As we send it to Kevin Winter in the studio, here's the AutoZone halftime report.
Kesty PJ, the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free, and it can get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Before we go any further, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed. At the half in Boston in game 2 of these Eastern Conference semifinals, the Celtics with a 57-49 lead over the 76ers. Joel Embiid back for Philadelphia tonight. 13 points, 5 blocks, 2 rebounds. Boston looking to even up this series. Up next on the AutoZone halftime report, we'll look ahead to game 2 in the West tomorrow night between the Warriors and Lakers, how the Lakers stole game 1 in San Francisco. That's all next. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
It can be stressful when unexpected expenses come up, but Dave can help. Dave is the banking app that could help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. No interest, late fees, or credit check. Join the millions of people who have downloaded Dave and get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. Download the Dave app right now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
The Hoop Collective Podcast.
How do they not re-sign him?
The reason why the Dylan Brooks conversation has gone the way it has, and the Draymond Green conversation is where it is, despite all the things both of them have done, is because repeatedly now in the playoffs, we've seen Dylan Brooks submarine his team with his play, and repeatedly in the playoffs, we have seen Draymond Green do things to lift his team up, to win games, as McMahon said over and over and over again.
The Hoop Collective Podcast. Listen on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
The one problem I do have with the Grizzlies, Key, is when the series is over, I don't like the hugging and laughing. You just got smacked, yo.
I mean, what you gonna do? Walk off on side?
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm gonna shake your hand, but I'm angry. Like there's a little bit of Dylan Brooks where I'm like, all right, that's fraudulent, but at least I know who you are. Like at least I know who you are. Like he didn't talk to the media for 3 games in a row. Now I would address him and tell him to talk to the media, handle it like a real man. But at least he is angry. There's something I know about them. The friendliness and the laughter and the joking.
Or is he embarrassed?
It's both. It's whatever you want to call it, but at least it's consistent. I know what it is. There's a little bit of the ups and downs where I'm still trying to find out who Memphis is. Like there still feels like a little bit of an immaturity with Memphis when I watch them play.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. You're listening to the NBA on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Kevin Rich with you inside our Granger studio, watching the Red Panda perform at halftime at TD Garden. Here of Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The AutoZone Halftime Report brought to you by the makers of 5-Hour Energy. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com. Celtics with a 57-49 lead over the 76ers. Pretty good night and pretty good return for Joel Embiid.
Logged it out on the left, defended by Embiid. Drives him to the free throw line, down the low blocks. Another block. That's number 5 on Embiid. Like a cat got the hand out. Here's Maxey on the other end. Layup. No. Weak side rebound. Yes, on the putback by Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris, the putback there. Joel Embiid, 5 blocks, but they're down 8 are the Sixers. Second half coming up from TD Garden.
LeBron one-on-one against Clay. Three-pointer by LeBron. No good. Rebound Steph. 18 seconds left. Lakers cannot give up a 3. Steph's got it. He's double-teamed. They get it to Draymond. Now Poole, 3 for the tie. No good. Rebound, Schroeder. And they tie him up. What's the call? Timeout, Lakers. They gave the Lakers a timeout with 4.7 to go.
John Ireland last night, ESPN 710 in Los Angeles. Lakers with the victory. They steal Game 1 from the Warriors. Kendrick Perkins with Scott Van Pelt on the difference of Game 1.
All I've been hearing for the last few days is the matchup between Steph and LeBron James. And, you know, respectfully and rightfully so. But they forgot to mention the generational talent, and that's Anthony Marshawn Davis. Look, the Lakers have been the most physical, imposing team in the paint since the All-Star break. Why would it stop now? And when I look at what Anthony Davis did today, he showed us why he has been the best player in the Western Conference since the All-Star break. He was a complete man in the paint all night long on both ends of the floor. And I said this before this game started, earlier today on all the TV shows throughout our network. I said, listen, Anthony Davis is not Sabonis. He is going to be an offensive threat, and he's going to cause Draymond and Looney serious problems, and Steve Kerr is going to have to find a way to slow him down after game
117, 112. Perk, sorry about that. AD goes for 30 and 23. Perk, what needs to change for Golden State in Game 2?
I think he have no choice but to go small and try to push the pace. Right. Because if he stay with that 2 big lineup in Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, that's better for the Lakers. That's going to give them an opportunity to load up. That's going to give them a better chance of getting back in transition. And they are too long and athletic across their front line when you think about Jared Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James to play 2 bigs. So they're not going to stop them on the offensive end. So what he's going to have to do is try to push the pace, something like what the Kings tried to do to Golden State.
Coverage of Game 2 tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN Radio. My cousins, Corey Alexander, will have the call from Chase Center. Kevin Richard with you up next on the AutoZone Halftime Report. We get set for the second half in Boston. You're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app.
Mike Greenberg.
Cam, who we got today first up?
We got Joe in Kansas.
Well, I am in Kansas City. I'm actually just a few blocks from stage where the draft will take place.
Nice.
We look forward to
So why
welcoming
did
you.
Cam say you were from Kansas? If he said, I'm from Kansas City, did you then say, okay, he's from Kansas?
No, I did know that. Bubba took the call, wrote it on the screen. I just read it.
I've been there many
Let
times.
Joe
I'm
talk.
well
What do you
aware.
mean many times? How many times have you been to Kansas City, Missouri?
I've been to Kansas like 5 times.
Why have you been to Kansas 5 times?
Don't worry about why I go to Kansas.
Where were you in Lawrence? Where in Kansas were you?
I got things cooking up over there.
He's visiting the set of Wizard of Oz.
Cam, who's next?
Matt in Michigan, unless Bubba got it wrong again.
Yeah, Matt, where in Michigan are you?
West Michigan, Grand Haven.
Fair enough. So Bubba seems to have gotten that one right. All right, Matt, what is your...
Congratulations, Bubba.
Thanks, Matt.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app. The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman.
I don't think our competitive balance is matched by any other sport. And making the playoffs is tough. And once you get in it, there's nothing like our playoffs, particularly the first round.
Luke Kennard, who's our guest here from the Grizzlies.
I'll look back whenever I'm done playing this beautiful game of basketball. I played against one of the greatest of all time.
Alabama defensive end, Will Anderson.
I think what I just bring to the game is like nobody else. You know what I'm saying? The mentality I have, the passion I have for the game. I put so much work in to be in this position, and I'm just ready for it to pay off.
Von Witherspoon of the Seattle Seahawks.
What is the biggest thing that you've been told that you need to work on going into the next level?
There's a lot of the trash talking for real after the play.
I knew it.
A lot of unnecessary trash talk.
The biggest names in sports come here. And it all starts weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. And continues all day. This is ESPN Radio.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny.
With Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, we saw kind of a few different versions of Rodgers. It'll be interesting to me to see what it looks like with Nathaniel Hackett in New York, with Garrett Wilson. Okay, offensive line. There's no doubt in my mind that it will be better than what we saw last year, but I think there's reasonable questions just of how much better it'll be and what it will look like.
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
The quest to crown a champion begins at the SEC softball tournament.
This is the best postseason conference tournament in the entire country. You're just not going to see better competition in this winner-go-home scenario.
The 2023 SEC softball tournament begins Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern on SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. Presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Show 'em what I'm made of.
Saturday on ESPN Radio.
The wall gone! A blast from Rizzo.
It's a showdown in the AL East when the New York Yankees head to the Trop to face the first place Tampa Bay Rays.
Liner out there again, and a Rosarena pokes it to right field, and it's gone! Unbelievable!
The Yankees at the Rays. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker. Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Steph's got it. He's double teamed. Draymond now pull 3 for the tie. No good.
LeBron James and the Lakers steal home court advantage away from the Warriors with a huge Game 1 win in San Francisco. How will Golden State respond? Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
The Dodgers versus the Padres is Major League Baseball's hottest rivalry. It's star-powered. It's intense. It's an NL West showdown.
You have no idea. You can't stop. Right my leg to his door. That ball is out.
The rest is history. Give us Sunday Night Baseball. Dodgers, Padres. Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Presented by Casamigos Tequila.
Hi, I'm Myron Metcalf, host of the podcast ESPN Daily. Every weekday morning, I'll bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. Today on ESPN Daily, Tisha Thompson tells us all about a diagnosis called commotio cordis and explains how DeMar Hamlin's on-field incident has brought awareness of this serious condition. So follow us and listen wherever you get good podcasts.
Kevin Richard with you inside our Granger Studios, end of one half in Boston.
Smart's got it with a minute to go in the half. Bounce pass to the corner. Derek White's three on its way and good. 10-point Celtic lead with a minute to go in the first half. Embiid, the MVP. 2 big steps and a jackhammer. Two-handed stuff. Wow.
Embiid, 13 points, 5 blocks. Boston once led by 12. The lead is 8. That'll do it for us on the AutoZone halftime report. Our first half recap brought to you by the makers of 5-Hour Energy. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com. Second half in Boston. It comes your way next with PJ and Kesty. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Nerds.
At NerdWallet, we often see people blocked when making financial decisions. Take Harold.
Coach, these credit card offers, they're everywhere.
Harold, look, it's tough out there, but you have got this. With NerdWallet on your team, you will make the smartest play with side-by-side comparisons of top credit cards.
Whoa, a card that rewards me for buying sports gear. Let's go get that cash back, team.
NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor. Melinda's is proud to be the official hot sauce of the AT&T Byron Nelson. We make 32 craft pepper sauces that are thicker, hotter, and better. Find them in a grocery store near you at melindas.com. That's MELINDAS.com. melindas.com.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive. Of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Oh, I cracked the hull of my new ski boat today.
Oh my gosh, why'd you do that?
It's not like I was trying to do it, you know.
Sorry, that's rough. My bad, bro. Did anyone witness this epic fail?
Yes, there's videos galore, and now I'm a meme.
Accidents don't just happen in sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
You're listening to the NBA on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Kevin Richard with you inside our Granger Studio. The time now for Did You Know brought to you by Geico. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Go to geico.com today. Did you know the 76ers made only 1 3-pointer in the first half, matching their fewest made threes in any first half or in any half of any game this season? Also, Jason Tatum taking just 4 shots in the first half. Last time he took 4 shots or less in a postseason game, we're going to go back to 2019. Also, did you know, in case you've only been listening on the radio tonight, which, by the way, we appreciate, on TNT television, they have a drone that is flying around. As we go back to Mark Kessler and PJ Carlissimo, guys, one of my favorite halftime tweets, some member of the media who shall remain nameless, tweeted a picture of my halftime reading. How do I take control of a drone near me on Google? That's what they said. Back to you guys.
I swear on that one outlet pass that went 60 feet, I thought the drone was getting hit. It didn't. Kevin, PJ, just detailed the Philadelphia 1 for 13 from 3 and the fact that Tatum only has 4 shots, but other guys have stepped up, including Marcus Smart down the stretch of the half.
Yeah, no question. Jason Tatum was struggling anyhow when he was on the floor, but he committed 2 offensive fouls. But as you mentioned, Jaylen Brown's been magnificent. He's got 16, Marcus Smart 13, and Malcolm Brogdon big off the bench. That's why the Celtics are 13-4 in bench points so far.
Big key, though, we know Joel Embiid coming back, 13 points, 5 blocks. Maxey had 10 of his 13 in the second, but Harden had the turn back the clock performance in game 1. He's reverted the other way around here in game 2 so far.
Yeah, they need a lot more James Harden the same way the Celtics need more Jason Tatum in the second half. More likely you're going to see more Jason Tatum. They also need some transition defense if you're Boston. That's what's kept Philly somewhat in striking distance, 14-7 in fast break points. Philly's got to do a much better job defending the 3. It's not just their problem. They're shooting 1 for 13. Celtics are 8 for 22. We talked about it on Monday. They didn't take very many shots. They were 10 for 26. It's a team that's second in the league in 3-point attempts, the Boston Celtics. They're getting that way tonight, 22 already. How about the free throw shooting, Kesty, for both teams? 29 for 30, both teams combined on Monday, 25 for 27 in the first half tonight. Free throws are automatic for these two teams.
Comes down to free throw shooting. If anyone has uncharacteristic bad night, could be the difference in the game. Crowd just settling in for the second half. Celtics have the first attack of the third quarter from right to left as we watch it courtside. Marcus Smart had a strong finish to the second. He's going to back down Harden. He's going to turn a fading jumper. Good. Smart stays hot as we open quarter number 3.
Marcus Smart is the offensive man tonight. 15 points already.
To go with his 5 rebounds. Doesn't have an assist tonight. That's an upset.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Tobias Harris, left wing, trying to find Embiid. Guarded tightly by Horford outside the mid-post left. Joel faces up, the newly minted MVP. An up fake. Puts it on the deck into the high post, spins, fades, one-legged jumper, good for Embiid.
Boy, it took a long time. Same set they ran first play of the game, but he didn't get a shot off it in the first half.
15 for Joel. Boston attacking quickly. Brown with a slam dunk on the feed from Al Horford to the middle of the lane.
PJ Tucker tapped his shirt to say, my fault. He just lost track of Jaylen Brown, and fortunately, Al Horford did not.
10-point game, Boston. Here's Maxey attacking, finds Tucker. Right corner 3 is good. Wow. Tucker has struggled from 3-point land, but that's his home base.
And he's got something to say to Marcus Smart. Those two get after it.
61-54. Brown looking to answer for a 3, and he connects from the left. Jaylen Brown had an outstanding first quarter with 13 points, and he's up to 21.
Jaylen Brown has stepped up. Tatum struggled in the first half. Jaylen Brown, anything but that.
Embiid with it, right of the circle. Stops the dribble, passes out to Harris. Embiid wants it back, but he's being fronted. Now pass on a crushing screen by Embiid. Into the corner, it comes out to Joel in the high post. Turns on Tatum into Horford. Pass opposite corner, Harris. Late clock 3 is a miss. Tatum has the rebound.
What a good pass by Embiid.
Tatum, Euro, stripped of the ball. Maxey got a hand on it. It's loose, and Philly's got it. Embiid was cherry-picking, but Harris now just gets it to him, and he missed the bunny a little too hard off the glass. Boston coming the other way. Smart into the front court. Waits for the numbers to come back down floor with 9:45 to go in the third. Finds Brown stripped again by Philly, and a whistle out on the end line.
Well, I'll tell you what. Going to the rim is not easy right now. Teams are going in, and I don't know whether you want to call it a block shot or a steal. They're just ripping the ball out of their hands.
Out of bounds was the call out on the far side against Philly. So Jaylen Brown will inbound front court, baseline right into Marcus Smart, back to Brown, who goes to the top. 10-point Celtic lead. 9.5 to go third quarter. Brown dribbling to the right side, guarded by Maxey. Bumps his way to the free throw line, squares, fires, connects. And he says Maxey's too small to cover him as Brown's up to 23.
Just play. Jaylen Brown lighting it up. I can't get over that pass that Embiid made. He got knocked on his back underneath the rim and found Tobias Harris in the corner for a wide open three.
He was right on the money, couldn't convert. Harden to Embiid, 15-footer, free throw line jumper miss, rebounded by the Celtics. 12-point lead, matching their largest. Brown pulls for three, a heat check miss. Smart comes flying in, nearly tapped it out. Philly keeps.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown needs to be a tiny bit more patient.
Maxey gets the Embiid screen, dribbles to the right, passes to Joel, squares, three, front rim, no. Rebounded by Tatum.
A layup and two open jump shots. They may be the easiest shots Joel's had so far tonight.
Meanwhile, Philadelphia continues to struggle from outside. 2 for 16 here in game 3. Here's Horford, right corner three, miss. Tobias Harris rebounds.
Talking about struggling, 1 for 6 from downtown from Al Horford.
Harris wards off. Tatum backs up beyond the stripe and goes to Embiid on the left. Joel, bounce pass, too wild, turns it over. Brown has it. Here's Jaylen Brown, middle of the floor, out to Horford on the right. He's going to square for three. He'll miss it. Harden has the rebound.
1 for 7, and I don't want to overthink Joel Embiid, but he has not looked good since he sat in that locker room for 20 minutes.
Yeah, he looks a little more sluggish to open this third as Harden lifts for three, around 3 times and falls out. They can't buy a triple here in game 2. 15 misses and 17 attempts from deep. 8 minutes to go in the third. Smart at the top. Right side to Brown, 12-point lead Celtics. Brown on the drive, knocks down Tucker. Shot up, no good. It's a whistle. And the foul's going to go against Tucker that time. Must have been moving, coming over to defend.
James Harden lunged at Jaylen Brown, trying to steal the ball on the perimeter, and that left Jaylen Brown just an open path in there. P.J. Tucker rotated over, but didn't get there quickly enough. Boston right now, the way Philly is playing right now, Boston needs to put their foot down. They need to make sure they get a good shot every trip down the floor.
Tucker's third foul. He also not only was backpedaling, but took looked like an elbow from Brown as well as he got knocked down to the deck. Brown will shoot free throws, and the first one is good. 24 points for Jaylen Brown, who's got 8 points here in the third quarter. And we're just 4 minutes into this quarter, making 9 in the quarter and 25 for the game, hitting both.
25 and counting, yeah. Shows no sign of slowing down.
Biggest lead for the Celtics in game 2 right now at 14, 68-54. Embiid puts it on the deck, shovels it to Harden on the right, and he just got clothesline and went down to the deck, and it was Tatum who hit him, and that's going to be 4 on Jason Tatum at the 7:34 mark to go here in the third quarter. Harden is down, both hands over his face. As Tatum was trying to fight through the Embiid screen, that right arm got caught and slammed right into Harden's nose.
Assistant coach Ben Sullivan, a buddy of mine from San Antonio days, Doc's taking a timeout. He doesn't like the way it's going. I was just going to say, he walked over to Joe Mazzulla and said, that's 4 on Jason. Joe said, I know. They're just trying to get him going right now because he's having trouble staying on the floor.
4 fouls on Tatum, who's 1 for 5 in the ball game, but Jaylen Brown, 25 points, doing work here in the third quarter. They're attending to James Harden, who just now is into a seated position, and we'll update after the break. 7:34 to go, third quarter. Boston 68, Philadelphia 54, and you're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Kevin Richard with you inside our Granger studio here in the third quarter. It's an 11-5 advantage for Boston. Our coach, PJ Carlissimo, coached 4 different teams in the NBA during his tenure. Also was an assistant on the Dream Team. PJ noted the transition offense for Philly in the first half. There were 7 of 11 on field goals in transition in the first half. PJ Carlissimo, just 10 for 31 was Philly on a half-court shot. Back to you and Mark Testenshire.
Kev, thanks very much. And we're getting a look at the slowed down replay of Tatum, whose arm got caught trying to get through that Embiid screen. And Joe Mazzulla is going to roll the dice here, PJ. 4 fouls.
That's what we were referencing, Kesty, before the timeout. Ben Sullivan, the assistant coach, went over, as you're supposed to, if the trainer doesn't, say, hey, he's got 4, just so you know. And I think Joe's just saying, hey, He's not doing us any good on the bench. We got to get him on track right now. We got a chance to break this open.
Biggest lead for Boston, 14 right now, a 7-0 run. Philly out of the timeout. Harden's okay in the game, finds Embiid, 5 to shoot, baseline right, spins into a double, knocked away, it's loose. Embiid gets on the ground, so do 2 Celtics, and they're going to say Boston ball.
I think Kevin Scott is saying your elbow touched out of bounds.
Marcus Smart was one of the 2 players there, and Smart may have injured himself. He is running toward
he called
on the far side. Yeah.
He called an elbow. That's what he was saying.
Embiid ball loose. It was rolling toward the baseline. They're going to say last touch by Philly.
I'm sorry. I don't care for that call at all. That's a loose ball. They were diving for the loose ball. Yes, Joel Embiid's elbow hit Marcus Smart. Doc is really upset, and he should be. I don't care for that call.
Full force of the 280 pounds of Embiid, and that elbow landed on the back of the head of Smart, who ran his way toward the locker room. In play, Jaylen Brown wide left on a 3-pointer. 7 minutes to go in the third. Down 14 is Philadelphia.
Hard to be critical. He's got 25 points and 9 already in this quarter. That's the second shot I thought Jaylen Brown did not have to take.
Harden drives, contact, push shot, no. Going to the line for 2 is Harden as the foul is committed by Al Horford. That'll be his second foul. Harden, very hard-pressed over play with Embiid falling on Smart.
Just bad luck. Marcus Smart's on the floor trying to get it, and Joel came right down on top of him. Doc is still listening to the explanation.
Smart is on the bench, but clearly trying to shake the cobwebs off. Well, that might have been actually a replay from the other night. Remember, he took a shot to the chest.
Yep.
And he had a bruised chest. He was on the injury list before the game. I saw Smart take off toward that.
Well, he's a football player. He just doesn't wear the pads right here, but he's always involved.
As Harden splits the free throws, made the first, missed the second, 68-55. Boston still up 13 in possession, 6:40 to go. Tatum with 4 fouls, rises for 3, missed it. High rebound, Tucker had position on Horford, and he touched it last, did Tucker. As it goes across the baseline, it'll be Boston ball.
I'm looking to see, Kesty, if Joel Embiid can get on track, because he has not looked comfortable since coming out for the halftime.
Remember, he had 5 blocks early. He's sitting on 15 points, just 4 of 9 shooting, and has looked a bit lethargic here in the third.
He's just not playing as well as he did in the first. You wonder, is it because he sat in the locker room for 20 minutes?
Inbound, Tatum's got it, trying to get him going. Crossover on Max, he drives, dish to the baseline. Grant Williams outside, Derek White launches a 3 and connects.
Kesty, we talked about that 3, that big 3 that Derek White made in the first half, that maybe that would get him on track.
71-55, 16-point edge for Boston, trying to even this series at 1. Here's Harden, pick and roll game with Embiid. Harden rises, missed the jumper. Horford rebounds.
Get good shots, Boston Celtics. Right now, Philadelphia unable to score against the Celtic defense.
Midway through the third, dominating third as Tatum drives. Embiid got a piece again. Boston keeps it outside to Horford. His 3 is a miss. Tucker grabs the rebound.
1 for 8 from downtown, and virtually every one a really good look.
Boston 71, 76ers 55. Maxey, middle of the third quarter, drives, light defending, switch to the right hand. His push shot's no good. Horford the rebound.
Well, he's dominating the boards.
Philly's only got 6 points in the quarter. Derek White got deep, lays it in, and Doc Rivers can't watch anymore. His 76ers are down 18 points. Timeout.
Well, you just mentioned it. It's the Celtic defense or the fact that Philadelphia can't put the ball in the basket. Marcus Smart just came out of the tunnel right now, and it looks like he's got a wrap on his right shoulder.
12-1 run for the Boston Celtics, and they lead it now 73-55 over Philly. 5:27 to go in the third. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
Thursday on Fitz and Harry, we'll get you ready for Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors and tell you why one future Hall of Famer needs to step up.
And a full breakdown of the Golden Knights. I'm just kidding. I'm sure we'll talk Aaron Rodgers. Fitz and Harry, Thursday, noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? With these prices, we'd barely be scraping by if it weren't for Dave. It's the banking app that advances us up to $500 instantly. There's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. No joke. You can get extra cash for anything your family needs. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Steph's got it. He's double teamed. Draymond now pull three for the tie. No good.
LeBron James and the Lakers steal home court advantage away from the Warriors with a huge Game 1 win in San Francisco. How will Golden State respond? Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
Coming up Thursday, we'll recap all the playoff action and get you ready for Game 2 of Lakers-Warriors. You're going to hear right here on ESPN Radio. Keyshawn, J. Will, Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Kevin Winter with you inside of Granger Studio. Back in Game 1, the Sixers took control of the second half against Joel Missoula's Celtics.
I think they did a great job making multiple efforts, running us off the line, putting us in gray area spots. Should we shoot it? Should we drive it? And then, so we did a really good job of getting early baskets, getting paint baskets in the first half. They made a good adjustment in the second of taking some of those away. So we just have to find that balance. We still want to get really good looks. We want to get layups. At the same time, if we're open, we got to shoot it. We got to shoot it with confidence.
They found the balance and then some here in the third quarter. 5:27 to go. It's a 16-6 quarter for Boston. Their lead, 73-55. They're up 18. Mark Tessisher, PJ Carlesimo.
All right, Kev, an update on Marcus Smart, who is available to return back on the bench. We were just watching him kind of stretch that right arm. We're told he had a right shoulder stinger when he went on the floor diving for it. Joel Embiid landed on him, and also a bloody lip they were attending to.
Yeah, bloody lips all the time for Marcus. But our eagle-eyed producer, John Medani, what happened was Marcus Smart had his arm extended, and then 280 at least pounds fell on top of it. So I'd be shaking my right arm, too, if Joel came down on me.
He's still on the bench as Harden brings it up for Philadelphia. They work it to the left side to Maxey. Maxey, a little head of steam, will go to Harris on the left. Harris puts it on the deck. Drive to Embiid. Couldn't get to the basket. Outside it goes. 5 to shoot. Maxey to Harris. Open look. Left corner three is good. And Doc Rivers puts his hands to the sky to say, finally, just our third triple of the game.
About 6 passes that time. Good patience by Philadelphia. Eventually, they beat the Boston defense.
Boston still with a considerable lead, 73-58. 4:50 to go in the third. Jaylen Brown, back dribbles. Oh, he's got the switch against Embiid. He backs up, will make a run at him. Goes to the left, gets into the lane, turns, wheels 360. Off-balance jumper is a miss, and Tucker secures it for Philly.
Jalen's cooled off a little bit, and Joe Mazzulla's got Jason Tatum on the bench with 4 fouls.
There's Harden around the Embiid screen, right of the lane. Nice find. Tucker down low, turns and scores. And Philly out of the timeout as Doc claps his hands. They got 5 points out of the timeout.
Yeah, Grant Williams lost P.J. Tucker. He caught the ball with his back to inbounds and still made the play.
Fans at TD Garden trying to infuse some energy into the Celtics. Here's White at the top. They still lead by 13.
This next shot's a big shot for Boston.
4 minutes to go in the third. White lights up on a three and knocks it down. Big hit for Derek White. The lead restored to 16.
Derek White started struggling. He started 1 for 4. Since then, he's 3 for 3, and they're all big three-point shots.
13 for White as Philadelphia now down 16 points. Tyrese Maxey at the point on the Celtic logo. Will go left side to Harris. They load up Embiid in the mid-post. Spins against Grant Williams. Big size mismatch, and he never got the shot off. The ball went in. I heard the buzzer. They're going to count it. All the Celtics saying shot clock expired, but the basket counts for Embiid.
Well, that's something that they can take a look at. We'll find out the next dead ball. I didn't see anybody circling their fingers, referees telling them to take a look at it.
They will review it while play goes on. Right now, Boston's lead is 14. Here's Brown accelerating to the rim, missed the shot. Horford's there for the offensive rebound and the putback.
Couple of big offensive rebounds. Derek White had the last 8 points. There's Al Horford chipping in also.
Got it from close range after being 1 for 9 to start. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Celtics lead by 16. Tucker drives out of the left corner. Skip pass to Maxey right in front of the Celtic bench. Maxey finds some space, shoots the three, missed it. Horford secures the rebound.
He is rebounding really well this quarter.
Got 7 total in the game. He hands it off. Here's Brown driving on Embiid. Nothing doing. Outside it goes to Brogdon for 3, and the triple's home. Celtics 12 three-pointers. Philly's only offered 3 tonight, and a steal of the inbounds. Brown's got it to White. In the body, able to put it up and in. 2:19 to go here in the third quarter, and Boston leads by 21 here in game 2.
Doc Rivers really upset with his team. They got out-hustled for an offensive rebound, and then a careless inbounds pass. Jaylen Brown saw it coming. The Celtics about to blow this one wide open.
2:19 to go, third quarter. Boston 83, Philadelphia 62 with PJ Carlissimo. I'm Mark Kestisher here at TD Garden. Well, when we were in Sacramento on Sunday, PJ, we talked about the numerology of the playoffs. Every seed number was accounted for when the Golden State Warriors knocked off Sacramento. We had a 1 seed, a 2 seed, all the way down. But apparently you're going to one-up me here with some numerology.
No. This is just a poor man's attempt. It's 5-3. It's May 3rd, so
is.
focus on that number 3. James Harden, number 3 pick in 2009. Jaylen Brown, number 3 pick in 2016. Al Horford, number 3 pick in 2007. And Al Horford was born on June 3rd. Correct. Let's go to Joel Embiid, number 3 pick in 2014. And he was born on March, that's 3/16. And let's finish with Jason Tatum. He was the number 3 pick in 2017, and he was born in 1998 on 3/3, March 3rd. You take it, Kesty. Tell me what seed the Philadelphia 76ers are.
A 1, a 2, a 3. PJ Carlissimo taking us into the twilight zone here. Too bad it's not game 3. It's game 2. They wiped out that basket, by the way, against Embiid. It was a shot clock violation. Paul Reed out of the timeout just missed. It's a 23-point lead for Boston. Here's Brogdon for 3. Make it 26. Boston lost game 1 at home, and they are drubbing Philadelphia here in quarter number 3.
And it is raining down threes.
Niang missing a 3. Offensive rebound. Reed put back. No. Robert Williams got in the way. But it's an offensive board out to Harris, who converts a 3-pointer for Philadelphia.
Well, I am loving what Paul Reed has given Doc Rivers, usually off the bench and in a starting role, big starting role on Monday.
Game 3 of this series will be Friday in Philadelphia. Boston bidding to have it 1-1 going to South Philly. Here's Jaylen Brown for Boston, leading this one by 23. 5 to shoot. Here's the drive by Brogdon. Pass out to Williams. Grant's 3 is good. They're burying Philadelphia with 3-pointers here in the third.
14 for 34 from downtown.
89-63 Celtics. A minute to go in the third. Harden, White stripped them away. Harden thought it was a foul. Here's Malcolm Brogdon on the other end. He's going to light a 3, and he's going to knock it down. They can't miss here in the third quarter. Boston blowing the roof off of TD Garden. They're all on their feet. 41 seconds to go in the third. Tobias Harris, the drive, it'll quiet him momentarily. 92-65. Boston still in command.
6 threes already this quarter, Kesty.
Here's Brogdon, bumped by Harden. 30 seconds to go here in the third. Both teams had fouls to give with 30.1. This will be side out for the Boston Celtics. Marcus Smart should get a hand here after that stinger went out. Took the full force of the nearly 300-pound MVP Embiid on his back and head. He's windmilling that right arm and shoulder to warm up as he comes in for Jaylen Brown.
And the masked man's getting a standing ovation because he has really delivered tonight for Joe Mazzulla.
Inbound to Malcolm Brogdon. He's been hot of late. On top, he's going to pull for 3 again. Missed it short. Rebounded by DeAnthony Melton. Final shot coming here with the shot clock off. Boston does have a foul to give. They lead by 92-65 advantage. Tyrese Maxey working the clock at half court. 8 seconds to go in the third. Dribbles to the three-point line against White with 5. Accelerate shot blocked by Robert Williams with 2 seconds. Brogdon from half court. If this goes, they'll go wild. Just missed it off the front rim. What a third quarter for the Boston Celtics.
Excellent quarter. The defense was magnificent. They moved the ball. The three-point shot was there. Jason Tatum hasn't contributed. Guess what? It doesn't matter.
A 35-16 third quarter. Boston 12 minutes away from evening this series at 1 through 3. Celtics 92, 76ers 65. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Saturday on ESPN Radio.
The wall gone! A blast from Rizzo.
It's a showdown in the AL East when the New York Yankees head to the Trop to face the first-place Tampa Bay Rays.
Liner out there again, and Arozarena pokes it to right field, and it's gone! Unbelievable!
The Yankees at the Rays. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker. Yo, check this out from Canty and Carlin.
If we're going to start talking about a 5th championship for Steph Curry with everything that he has accomplished in his career, and I don't think we're close to the end of the road here, we're completely changing the dynamic of what his spot is in the history of the game, and the fact that the Golden State Warriors are not that old. They just continue to get it done. He was on the outside looking in. He's not anymore when it comes to being a top 5 player of all time.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
And Arthur Smith, Falcons head coach Bijan Robinson, what did you guys love about the player to make him the pick?
We're so excited to get Bijan in our program. I mean, he's made of all the right characteristics we look for. And then obviously he's a phenomenal football player. And he's a lot more than just a running back. He's an explosive guy with the ball in his hands and just another piece with that'll fit in here because we've got a lot of versatile players, skill players on our offense.
Fitz and Harry, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Who has become your draft trust? I think a5dc Harry could be pretty good. Oh, there we go.
Listen to the College Game Day podcast with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, I'm Myron Metcalf, host of the podcast ESPN Dailies. Every weekday morning, I'll bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. Today on ESPN Daily, Tisha Thompson tells us all about a diagnosis called commotio cordis and explains how DeMar Hamlin's on-field incident has brought awareness of this serious condition. So follow us and listen wherever you get good podcasts.
Outside it goes to Brogdon for 3 of the triples home. Celtics 12 three-pointers. Philly's only offered 3 tonight. And a steal on the inbound. Brown's got it to White. In the body, able to put it up and in. 2:19 to go here in the third quarter. And Boston leads by 21 here in game 2.
The lead would grow to 29. We have an associate producer who cuts all these highlights. His name's Ben Rivera. He got his work cut out for him in that third quarter. Marquez Fisher, PJ Carlissimo, back to you.
And he did. 35 Boston points, 7 three-pointers. Derek White didn't miss a shot in the third, and Malcolm Brogdon added 9 points. They didn't even need Jason Tatum tonight in foul trouble, 1 for 7, blowing out Philly headed to the fourth.
About 25-4 bench points. That's mainly Malcolm Brogdon. Grant Williams has chipped in with the strong 6. What really impresses me, Kesty, 35-16. Excellent defense, 0 turnovers for the Celtics in a 35-point quarter. That's hard to do.
Boston's playing so well. Peyton Pritchard is out of the rotation, is in the game for the Celtics to open the fourth quarter. Tyrese Maxey attacking the basket to our right, dribbles against Smart, fades baseline, 15-footer missed, and the aforementioned Pritchard with a rebound. Outstanding shooter from Oregon, but hasn't played much of late. Been a rough one for Tatum, who's on the bench. Jaylen Brown also on the bench to start this fourth quarter.
You may not see them again, if you can believe that.
So Friday night's game 3 is Brogdon, foul, blocking call out on the perimeter against Paul Reed, his second. It's Brogdon, Smart, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, and Peyton Pritchard.
Now, this is back. You said I looked at you like you had 3 eyes. This is when Doc may not go back to Joel Embiid.
Good point. He played 3 quarters in his return from a knee injury and trailing big deficit in the fourth. As Smart drives baseline, skips the pass to the left corner, and Grant Williams knocks down another 3, number 16 for Boston tonight.
Peyton Pritchard's going to knock his down, too, the first one he takes.
95-65. Plus 30 is Boston here in game 2. Anthony Melton leaves it for Jalen McDaniels, and he knocks home a 3. The slim, long man out of the corner. Smart will bounce it to Grant Williams. Another 3 hoisted. That's a miss. Weak side tap and rebound for Robert Williams.
He has not played many minutes, but he's played very well, Robert Williams III.
97-68. Melton jacking up a 3. Missed it wide left.
Missed everything.
Pritchard was waiting for a long pass. Didn't get it. Marcus Smart front court, 90 seconds into the fourth quarter. Doc's about to wave the white flag here as Marcus Smart misses. Ball bounces in the air. Boston keeps it. Grant Williams thought about a 3 from the right. Gives it up to Brogdon. Topside triple's good. All Celtics in the second half, 100-68.
Another offensive rebound, another 3-point shot.
Jaden Springer is getting ready to check in for Philly. Doc's about to check out of game 2 as Melton turns it over on a pass to the left side. And here comes Jaden Springer, who is outstanding in the G League this year. He's checking into the game. And Shake Milton, who used to be in the rotation, did not play in game 1, didn't get in quick enough, but he's getting set to come in for Philly.
No. Doc's checking out, but his team checked out at halftime, unfortunately.
Well, Embiid looked good early, had 5 block shots, was cat quick. Not the same in the second half. Marcus Smart catch and shoot 3, overcooked it. Rebounded by Paul Reed with 9:45 to go in game 4.
And Joe Mazzulla just wants to see another turnover.
Turnover Philly, game 2. Game 4 we'll have for ESPN Radio Sunday. Here's Malcolm Brogdon for 3, in and out. Paul Reed has the rebound for Philly.
There's their 42nd 3-point attempt. That's what Boston averages a game, attempts.
100-68, 32-point spread. Boston leads. Niang catch and shoot. Hits the 3 from the right baseline, right in front of the Celtic bench.
Yeah, I was starting to say Joe Mazzulla, I think, wants to give Marcus Smart a little bit of a run now to make sure that arm is okay and it doesn't tighten up on him.
Smart to a Joel Embiid land on him on a scrap for a loose ball in the third quarter. No look to the right side. Hesitation 3 is no good for Grant Williams. Rebounded by Philly.
And getting a little sloppy right now, but fortunately for the Celtics, it's sloppy both ways.
Springer for Philadelphia, second-year guard out of Tennessee. They get it over to D'Anthony Melton. Drives free throw line. Stops. Goes to Niang on the left. 6 to shoot. Up top to Springer. Springer seeing some playoff minutes. Behind the back dribble. Knocked away by Brogdon, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Brogdon.
It was almost 3 consecutive turnovers for Philadelphia, but they're going to do well to get a shot off. There's 0.6 seconds to go. Shake Milton finally gets in for the Anthony Melton.
It's easier when Milton and Melton are
yes.
not on the floor at the same time.
Thank you.
6:10 on the shot clock. Inbound underneath. McDaniels flips it up. Missed the rim. Shot clock violation. 8:34 to go. 100-71. Boston in command here against the 76ers.
Turnovers are mounting up for Philadelphia. It wasn't for George Niang's 3. It seemed to have turned the ball over the last 3 of the last 4 possessions.
Well, we're going to have a third-string G League-ish type finish here to game number 2. Smart received the pass. And a turnover by Boston off that pass. And here we go. Daniel House will come in for Philadelphia. George Niang will sit down. Sam Hauser, sharpshooter, comes into the game, and I would think we've seen the last of Jason Tatum, who struggled tonight, probably Jaylen Brown, and on the other side, Harden and Embiid as well.
I'll tell you what, Sam Hauser had an excellent year for Joe Mazzulla. He really did a good job. He increased his, minutes played. I think he played, if I'm not mistaken, the number that he had played in the past was.
Here's McDaniel, a 3 off the inbound after a Pritchard foul missed.
158 minutes up to 1,300 minutes for Sam Hauser. Right. And more importantly, Kesty, he shot 3 points at 42%, scored 500 points. He was a rotation player for the Celtics most of this year, appeared in 80 games. But Joe Mazzulla, like most coaches now, tightening it up when the rotation comes to playoff time.
Brogdon was fouled. Free throw missed.
It's rare for
Malcolm
him.
Brogdon, PJ, has made 6 3-pointers tonight. That's tied for the most threes off the bench in a playoff game in Celtics history. Sixth man of the year. Brogdon second is good, splitting the pair, 101-71, back to a 30-point Boston edge with 8:06 to go in the game. Celtics will be tying this series at 1, barring an epic collapse here on a Wednesday night in downtown Boston. Here's Springer for Philly, spinning, sends it over to McDaniels on the left. Jalen drives, stop, shot over Robert Williams, off the iron, no. Weak side rebound, Paul Reed works his way inside and scores.
When you said it would resemble the G League, there's the MVP from the G League.
That's right.
And he's playing very well.
Third-year man out of DePaul. 7.5 minutes to go. Still a 28-point lead for the Celtics. Grant Williams turns on Springer, gets into the lane, draws attention, passes out. Here's Hauser. Shoots the three, missed it front rim, and Milton has the rebound for the 76ers.
Hauser 13th in the NBA in three-point shooting.
He was that good. Here's Milton spinning in the lane, and Shake's got a basket. Little 10-footer with 7:10 to go. Still a 26-point lead for the Celts. Peyton Pritchard, who was first off that deep bench into the game here in the fourth, to Brogdon, a running hook shot missed, rebounded by Philly. We're under 7 minutes to go in game 2. McDaniels drives deep, finds House, checks his feet, shoots the corner three, in and out. Rebounded by Boston, and a timeout called by the Celtics at 6:47 to go, trying to whittle down this clock with a 26-point lead.
Yeah, Joe Mazzulla is not thrilled with their offensive execution here in the first 5 minutes and 13 seconds, but he is thrilled with the 26-point cushion.
Timeout here in Boston. 6:47 on the clock. Celtics 101, Philadelphia 75. And you're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, UFC 288, Saturday.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling defends his title against former 2-division champion Henry Cejudo as he makes his anticipated return to the octagon.
This is an amazing fight.
UFC 288, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
The one problem I do have with the Grizzlies, Key, is when the series is over, I don't like the hugging and laughing. You just got smacked, yo.
I mean, what you gonna do? Walk off on side?
Yes.
Losers?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna shake your hand, but I'm angry. Like there's a little bit of Dylan Brooks who I'm like, all right, that's fraudulent, but at least I know who you are. Like at least I know who you are. Like he didn't talk to the media for 3 games in a row. Now I would address him and tell him to talk to the media, handle it like a real man. But at least he is angry. There's something I know about them. The friendliness and the laughter and the joking.
Or is he embarrassed?
It's both. It's whatever you want to call it, but at least it's consistent. I know what it is. There's a little bit of the ups and downs where I'm still trying to find out who Memphis is. Like there still feels like a little bit of an immaturity with Memphis when I watch them play.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. The Baseball Tonight podcast.
It's taken less time to land on Man on the Moon than to get a baseball, the central piece of equipment in the game that all the players and the hitters and the pitchers and the teams in Major League Baseball's front office can get behind. And it's mind-boggling to me, Tim, that we continue to have these conversations.
The Baseball Tonight podcast is on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Kevin Ochoa at Granger Studio. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app presented by Indeed. Tomorrow night, we are in San Francisco. Game 2, Warriors and the Lakers. As for the Celtics and Sixers tonight, 47 to go. Boston at 101, Philadelphia 75. Mark Kestisher, PJ Carlissimo. We just need to know what time the Bee Gees song "You Should Be Dancing" comes on when that dude wearing the Geno shirt is up.
It's almost Geno time, and I don't know who burnt the sage tonight, but it has worked because this series is going to head back to Philadelphia.
You don't want to give him credit. I saw him walking around.
Unconfirmed reports. You've had the Twilight Zone working tonight. I can't trust you. Hey, a full house here at TD Garden, 18,624. Brought to you by Vivid Seats, where you earn rewards with every purchase. Vivid Seats Rewards is your ticket to more tickets. Vivid Seats, life happens live.
Derek White on the floor instead of Malcolm Brogdon for Joe Mazzulla.
Here's Robert Williams, skips it across to Grant Williams. Catch and shoot three is good. And Boston goes up 104 to 75. I think Joe Mazzulla can sit down now. He's been screening us out. He got a pretty large enough lead here.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have scored out of every timeout that they've had the ball, Kesty.
They might have more three-pointers in the second half, they do, than Philly has in the entire game as Reed knocks home a baseline jumper with 6:08 to go.
I like what Paul Reed is doing, and we've got a Furkan signing who, by the way, is a pretty good player.
Very good shooter.
Does not get into the game.
Derek White with it, under 6 minutes to go to Hauser. Catch and shoot triple, no good. Caroms to the right, offensive rebound. Here's Pritchard for three, and he knocks it home. You did call that earlier in the quarter.
My man, the Oregon Duck, you knew Peyton Pritchard. I watched him in warm-ups tonight. He wasn't even hitting the rim.
19 triples, 11 so far in the second half. We still have 5.5 minutes to go. Shake Milton sends it out to House. His corner three is no good, and Pritchard beats McDaniels to the rebound. I think we're also going to have
Mike Muscala was a rotation player when he first came over here and played well.
Dwayne Dedman's going to get in for Philly as well. Yeah, they're going to empty the benches soon. Here's Pritchard at the top. Sends it over to White. White will shoot a three. Hand in his face. No good. Rebounded by Daniel House.
It was a deep shot. Was the clock down? That was a very deep three.
5 minutes to go, and Robert Williams blocks House, who went inside, said, "Not in my house, Daniel." And it's a 30-point game. Boston leading, and the benches are emptying. Luke Cornett, Mike Muscala into the game. Robert Williams, Grant Williams, not related, will head to the Boston bench.
Robert Williams gave them really good minutes. Grant Williams was tough too, but Robert Williams was excellent.
We have a Justin Champagnie sighting, the second-year man from Pittsburgh. Every time I see that head of hair, I get jealous. A big flopping head of hair, and now Marcus Smart will sit down. 5 minutes to go in game two. Boston enjoying a 30-point lead, about to even this series at one. Shake Milton off the inbound block. No, they're going to call the goaltend on Luke Cornett. 4:53 to go. Count the basket for Shake.
I don't think, Kesty, excuse me, they can get through this final 4:52 without turning the ball over. But right now, Boston has 4 turnovers. That's the lowest number they've ever had in a playoff game in Celtic history.
Well, there's number 5. The pass went right through the hands of Muscala. Down on the other end, Furkan Korkmaz out to Dwayne Dedman. The big man shoots a three and misses. Cornett the rebound. Maybe some names you're not familiar with here down the stretch.
Maybe.
Unless you've been a big fan of the NBA all these years. Peyton Pritchard under the basket. 4:20 to go to Muscala on top. 3-pointers good. 20 triples for the Celtics in game two as they blow out Philadelphia. Going to even this series at one. 110 to 79, Boston. Korkmaz dribbles deep, tried to find Dedman, bounced past it by the big man and turned it over. Peyton Pritchard dribbles into the lane, finds Champagnie, left corner three, side rim no, tapped in for Cornett. The 7-footer gets the offensive stick back.
Well, if you follow the Celtics all year, 3 of these 5 players on the floor played rotation minutes for Joe Muscala.
Jaden Springer hits a jumper.
Excuse me. For our coach, Joe Mazzulla, not Muscala.
3:30 to go here in the fourth. 112-81 in favor of Boston. Pritchard drives, gets low, gets down to the baseline. Dedman trailing him, the big man. Nice find to Cornett, who puts it up and in.
It's played by Peyton Pritchard. That was a Steve Nash dribble behind the basket and find somebody, the old Wayne Gretzky from behind the goal.
That's right. His old office back there. Makes it 114-81. Boston routing Philly. We are about to cross 3 minutes to go in game 2. Some satiated fans are headed to the exit. Finally, a Boston team's going to win a playoff game.
The word relieved is in there also.
Dedmon turned it over. Hauser to Champagny. Passes out to Pritchard. Saves it from going out of bounds.
It's a good catch.
Pritchard between the legs dribble. Now pulls back, stops it, sends it over to Champagny. Champagny puts it up, missed it from 20. Rebounded by Dedmon. Down floor, Springer. Springer cut off by Mike Muscala. Bigger defender. Springer through the lane, took a third step and traveled with the basketball, turning it over. That'll bring us to the under 3-minute timeout with 2:28 to go in game 2. All Boston, 114-81 over the 76ers. And this is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman.
I don't think our competitive balance is matched by any other sport, and making the playoffs is tough. And once you get in it, there's nothing like our playoffs, particularly the first round.
Luke Kennard, who's our guest here from the Grizzlies. I'll look back whenever I'm done playing this beautiful game of basketball. I played against one of the greatest of all time.
Former Alabama defensive end, Will Anderson.
I think what I just bring to the game is like nobody else. You know what I'm saying? The mentality I have, the passion I have for the game. I put so much work in to be in this position, and I'm just ready for it to pay off.
Von Witherspoon of the Seattle Seahawks.
What is the biggest thing that you've been told that you need to work on going into the next level?
There's a lot of the trash talking for real after the play. A lot of unnecessary trash talk.
The biggest names in sports come here. And it all starts weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, and continues all day. This is ESPN Radio. Mike Greenberg.
Cam, who we got today first up?
We got Joe in Kansas.
Well, I am in Kansas City. I'm actually just a few blocks from stage where the draft will take place.
Nice.
We look forward to
So why did
welcoming you.
Cam say you were from Kansas? If he said, I'm from Kansas City, did you then say, okay, he's from Kansas?
No, I did know that. Bubba took the call, wrote it on the screen. I just read it.
I've been there many
Let
times.
Joe
I'm
talk.
well
What do you
aware.
mean many times? How many times have you been to Kansas City, Missouri?
Been to Kansas like 5 times.
Why have you been to Kansas 5 times?
Don't worry about why I go to Kansas.
Why were you in Lawrence? Where in Kansas were you?
I got things cooking up over there.
He's visiting the set of Wizard of Oz.
Cam, who's next?
Matt in Michigan, unless Bubba got it wrong again.
Yeah, Matt, where in Michigan are you?
West Michigan, Grand Haven.
Fair enough. So Bubba seems to have gotten that one right. All right, Matt, what is
Yeah,
your...
congratulations, Bubba.
Thanks, Matt.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
Kevin Utcher with you inside our Granger studio. I want to thank all of you who logged on to our Twitter account at NBA on ESPN Radio to vote in the AutoZone in the Zone poll question. 34% of you said Jaylen Brown would be the player to get in the zone tonight. We offered you, Jason Tatum. We offered you Tatum, Brown, Embiid, and Harden. Brown was the only one to do it. The other three, believe it or not really. This was all about the others. Then with 2:28 to go in Boston, it's officially Geno time. Mark Kessler, BJ Calissimo, back to you.
It is, and we have all the non-regulars on the bench. I'm going to test Mr. Carlissimo. You want to give the lineups for us, or should I run it through?
As long as if you ask them all to turn their back to me, I can definitely get them all.
House, Dedmon, and Milton. We've got a Justin Champagny sighting, so Champagny, Hauser, Pritchard, Muscala, and Cornette.
I've been impressed all year with how Sam Hauser has played.
Yeah.
Mike Muscala, when he first came over, that might have been when the Time Lord was banged up, but he gave him good minutes when he first came on board.
It's a 33-point Celtics lead. If you're wondering, Boston and Philly is the most played NBA playoff series
by far.
Boston has beaten Philly 3 other times by at least 30 points in a playoff game. The biggest win was a 40-point win in 1982 as Pritchard drives and lays it in, and it's a 35-point game.
Peyton Pritchard is a little bit frustrated because he doesn't get a chance to play. He was a rotation player for them in the past, and it just hasn't. Derek White, since he came in and has played so well, he's kind of lost his opportunity to get quality minutes.
150 to go in game 2. Here's a drive by House, contact and one as he ends up on the deck. You know, as we look at the third quarter explosion, because you mentioned Derek White and Brogdon were central characters in a 35-16 decisive third quarter win to blow this one away.
Yeah, no question. Early on in that quarter, it was Jaylen Brown. He got 9 points also. But then Derek White got 10 and Malcolm Brogdon got 9. They just pretty much dominated the entire quarter. I didn't think for a while that Philadelphia was going to get double digits, but they ended up with 16 points, shooting 32%.
House converted the three-point play. There was a whistle and a foul against Boston, and then a technical foul called on Daniel House. And so Peyton Pritchard will shoot the technical free throw. Reminder, game 2 between the Lakers and the Warriors will be coming tomorrow night here on ESPN Radio, 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific. My cousins, Corey Alexander, will have the call. Lakers took the opener in San Francisco. 117-84. Boston leads off the inbound. Pritchard feeds to the rim to Cornette, who slams it down. About 60% of the crowd remains, and they get loud on that one. 35-point lead for Boston here in game 2. They're going to even this series at 1. We'll be heading to Philadelphia for game 3 Friday night. You can see that one on ESPN television. Game 4 on ESPN, and we'll have it for you on ESPN Radio as House misses a 3. Offensive rebound, Springer, and before he shoots, he was fouled. We're looking forward to that one Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia. Embiid didn't play in game 1. Harden had the turn back the clock game, got the road win here. Embiid comes back. Jason Tatum has foul trouble, but it was Jaylen Brown. We mentioned White and Brogdon as well.
Who'd have thought Philadelphia wins without Embiid, Boston wins almost without Jason Tatum. But really solid effort by the Celtics. Philadelphia got what they wanted. I think had you asked Doc Rivers, would you take a split this trip to Boston to start the series, I think he would have said yes. He certainly was eyeing a 2-0 lead when this game started, but that got away from them pretty much by halftime.
You know, we had chance of We Want Blake earlier. Blake Griffin's the only active member of the Celtics who has not participated tonight as we come up on 1 minute to go. 119.85 pass down the lane, tipped by Philadelphia out. So Boston will inbound with 4.8 on the shot clock and 58 seconds ago. Joe Mazzulla's still coaching the game here. He's standing at half court.
Well, I just hope that all the naysayers that blamed Joe when things didn't go right are going to look up at the score and say, hey, Joe Mazzulla might have done something right tonight.
Peyton Pritchard just hit the 21st three-pointer of game 2 with 50 seconds to go. 121-85. Korkmaz missing. Cornette rebounding. 36-point lead. And Peyton Pritchard, you looking for more. Dribbling into the front court, out on the right wing. Pass out of bounds. Was trying to find Hauser on the baseline cut.
6 turnovers already for Boston. They've got to do a better job on Friday.
2-pointer for Pritchard. They changed it from a 3 to a 2. So still 20 3-pointers. And a foul by Hauser on the perimeter against Korkmaz. Both teams are over the limit here with 27 seconds to go.
Well, obviously, a lot more factors involved, Kesty, but you could say the dominant stat in game 1 was the 3-point shooting of the Philadelphia 76ers, and the dominant stat in game 2 is the 3-point shooting of the Boston Celtics.
Well, it'll be interesting to see post-game as Korkmaz hits the free throw, how Embiid felt. Didn't look the same in the second half.
That's a great point, Kesty, because how he comes out of this is enormous.
Yeah. And James Harden, who had 45, goes 2 for 14 and 0 for 6 from 3 here in game 2.
I'm more confident that James Harden's going to be all right on Friday. For Doc Rivers and the Philadelphia fans, they had better hope that Joel Embiid comes out of this with a 1-game turnaround.
Well, the Celtics are going to take a 24-second violation. We have 10 seconds to go, 5 on the shot clock. They have obliterated Philadelphia in the second half. 64 points on the board in the second half. And the Sixers, whom they held to 16 in the third quarter, even though garbage time held them to 22 here in the fourth. Final seconds elapse, and the Boston Celtics needed this one after dropping the first. An explosive second half to knock off the Philadelphia 76ers 121-87, and they have tied this series at 1.
Impressive answer by the Boston Celtics. No accident when you have the second best record in the NBA. A lot of people stepped up for Boston tonight. Their defense was excellent. They did a good job on the glass, took very good care of the ball, and boy, did they fill it up from the three-point line.
121-87 the final in game 2. Doc Rivers going over to the far side, seeing some of the familiar faces from his 9 years here in Boston, including that 2008 championship run when the Celtics won their 17th NBA title. They've been waiting on number 18. Last year, of course, got to the finals, lost to Golden State, but they have now evened this series at 1 impressively in the second half over Philly.
Two happy owners from Boston with Rosbeck and Steve Pagliuca looking a lot happier than they did on Monday night with the way their team played right here.
It was an unusual ending to game 2 because it was such a blowout. I think everybody left the floor. I'm looking right now for what we thought would be our post-game guest, Malcolm Brogdon, but he may already be in the locker room at this point. Going to come back out in a little bit. We're getting the word from Brian Olive, the outstanding PR director for the Boston Celtics. But the second half, just so impressive. You know, it was Malcolm. We talked about Brogdon, but it was Jaylen Brown got that third quarter started. That's where they started to get the separation. And then it was Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon, who we anticipate to talk with coming up. He won Sixth Man of the Year this year. He had 10 games off the bench of at least 20 points, and he does it again here in Game 3 with 23 points and 6 of Boston's 23-pointers. As a coach, PJ, you've been through this a million times. You got Game 1 on the road. You just wash this one away as you go to Game 3, or cause for concern?
No, the only cause for concern is Joel Embiid's health. If Joel Embiid's okay, then no problem. We got the split. Let's move on. But that would be my significant concern. And I don't think we're going to know that until Friday.
Malcolm Brogdon, the Sixth Man of the Year in the NBA, joins us. Malcolm, right across from you, Mark Kestisher and PJ Carlissimo. Obviously took it on the chin in Game 1, and that had to sit with you for a few days. How impressive, how important this Game 2 tonight, especially in the second half?
Yeah, I thought we came out ready. I thought we came out with intentionality on the details. And I thought overall we just played harder. I thought we played harder than Philly tonight. We didn't take them lightly. We respected them, but we played a good game. We played hard, and we were able to finish the game the right way.
You certainly did, and the bench play, and especially you and Grant Williams in terms of the offense was a huge factor. I got a chance to congratulate Malcolm before the game, and I said, he's struggling a little bit. He's not shooting a three yet in the playoffs the way he did in the regular season. You did tonight.
Yeah, just shooters keep their confidence no matter what. There are a lot of guys, J.J. Redick, Steph Curry, a lot of great shooters, man. They miss a lot of shots, but, they keep shooting. They keep the confidence in themselves.
I think we've seen around the league, and for some of our listeners, when a star player has an off night like Tatum did tonight, we've seen Miami down players. Everybody in the NBA is a really good player. So next man up is true in the NBA. You got guys stepping up, yourself, Derek White as well, shooting, with Tatum having a struggling night.
Absolutely. That's I think a credit to Brad Stevens, how he's constructed this team and made us really deep, man. We got really 8 starters on this team and 10 guys that can really play big minutes for us even in the playoffs. So, shout out to our depth and the job Joe Mazzulla is doing with us.
Yeah, a lot of people look at it and say, well, yeah, the Celtics are going to bounce back and even the series. Easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Philly didn't roll over. You guys came and you really took it to them. And I thought your point about the intensity with which you played, to me, significantly harder and with more purpose, certainly than you did in the first half on Monday. I thought in the second half was a little different, but that first half was not Celtic defense. Second half tonight was Boston Celtic defense.
For sure. I think they got the MVP coming back tonight. So I think it put us on guard. There's a team without him that's a very good team that has James Harden. He played like he was back in Houston last game.
Yes,
so,
he did.
They're a really good team. We respect them. And, we're going to come out ready for Game 3.
All right, safe trip down to Philadelphia. We'll see you this weekend.
Thanks for coming back out, Malcolm. Appreciate it.
Malcolm Brogdon, 5th player in Celtics playoff history with multiple 20-point games off the bench in a single postseason, joining the likes of Kevin McHale, who did it in 5 postseasons.
I was just going to say, if there's ever a franchise with the tradition of 6 men,
yes,
John Havlicek and
Bill Walton one
Tom
year.
Heinsohn. I mean, the guys that have come off the bench for this franchise, incredible. Malcolm Brogdon has had a great year, but boy, did he bounce back tonight. And Kesty, you talked about it. That third quarter when he and Jaylen Brown and Derek White combined for 28 points. I mean, that just blew the game wide open.
Well, Game 3 will be in Philly on Friday night. You can see that one on ESPN. PJ and I will be in South Philly for Game 4 on Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow, ESPN Radio has Game 2. Lakers took the opener at Golden State. Mike Cousins, Corey Alexander will have the call in San Francisco for that one.
Well, we'll see if Golden State's able to respond the way the Celtics did tonight and the way the Knicks did earlier in the week.
That's right. So teams that lost Game 1 at home have bounced back, and we'll see if the Warriors can do the same tomorrow. With Boston's win tonight, NBA home teams have now won 15 straight Game 2s after losing Game 1 at home. Our final score from TD Garden, the Celtics 121 and the 76ers 87. For PJ Carlesimo, our producer, John Medani, and our engineer, Doug Lane, I'm Mark Kestisher. That'll do it from now from Boston as we send it to Kevin Winter in the studio with the postgame show.
Tied for the 3rd largest win in Celtic playoff history, the 34-point advantage. The NBA on ESPN Radio has been presented by Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed.com/credit. Highlights are next of Celtics evening up this series with Philly at a game apiece. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14, 31, 13. We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. I realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduce the stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs. Visit FanDuel.com/play.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KESGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. GamblingHelplineMA.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Visit MDGamblingHelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
This is the NBA on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Kevin Winter with you inside our Granger studio tomorrow night. We're in San Francisco. Warriors, Lakers. The last series to play a game 2. Lakers lead that series 1-0. My Cousins, Corey Alexander, myself get you going 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Cousins and Corey with the call from Chase Center.
Here's White at the top. They still lead by 13.
This next shot's a big shot for Boston.
4 minutes to go in the third. White lights up on a three and knocks it down. Big hit for Derek White. The lead restored to 16.
Derek White started struggling. He started 1 for 4. Since then, he's 3 for 3, and they're all big 3-point shots.
Our game flow tonight brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com. With 4 and change to go, you heard Kesty and PJ mention it right there. It's a 13-point lead. Well, I wish I actually had the bite queued up of Will Ferrell and Anchorman saying that escalated quickly.
Outside it goes to Brogdon for 3 and the triples home. Celtics 12 3-pointers. Philly's only offered 3 tonight. And a steal of the inbounds. Brown's got it to White. In the body, able to put it up and in. 2:19 to go here in the third quarter. And Boston leads by 21 here in game 2.
Is that our 3-pointer of the game?
It's out to Williams. Grant's 3 is good. They're burying Philadelphia with 3-pointers here in the third.
Is that our 3-pointer of the game?
Harden, White stripped them away. Harden thought it was a foul. Here's Malcolm Brogdon on the other end. He's going to light a 3, and he's going to knock it down. They can't miss here in the third quarter. Boston blowing the roof off of TD Garden.
All right, that's our 3-pointer of the game. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Proud to serve members of the Armed Forces, the DOD, veterans, and their families. Our members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. In the third quarter, Boston hit 7 3-pointers. They outscored Philadelphia 35-16. The Celtics had more 3-pointers made in the third quarter than Philly did for the entire game. If you had Peyton Pritchard scoring more points tonight than Jason Tatum on your bingo card, go play the lottery. I swear, go do it quickly because you're going to get the right number. Peyton Pritchard, 8 points. Jason Tatum, 7. And Boston wins by 34. Had to get the abacus out. 34 points the Celtics win by. Abacus is what we used before calculators, kids. Look it up. 121-87. Series is tied at a game apiece. Up next, we'll hear from Jaylen Brown and how Boston ran away in the second half. This is the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Steph's got it. He's double teamed. Draymond now pull 3 for the tie. No good.
LeBron James and the Lakers steal home court advantage away from the Warriors with a huge Game 1 win in San Francisco. How will Golden State respond? Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
Thursday on Canty and Carlin, we got you covered. Game 2, Sixers and Celtics.
Plus, after winning Game 1, LeBron and AD look to get greedy in Golden State.
Oh, it's Thursday. Canty and Carlin, 3 p.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Coming up Thursday, we'll recap all the playoff action and get you ready for Game 2 of Lakers-Warriors. You're going to hear right here on ESPN Radio. Keyshawn, J. Willimax, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list, seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive. Of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
You hearing this? It sounds like
this is playoff basketball.
Time to tap into playoff mode. That non-stop, claw your way to the top, give it all you got type of thing. From inside the paint to outside the arena.
Where did this come from?
Everybody's got to get in playoff mode and stay in playoff mode. Every single round. The NBA playoffs presented by Google Pixel continue on ABC, ESPN, and TNT.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, our members are at the very heart of our mission. That's why this Military Appreciation Month, we thought you might want to hear a special thank you message from your friends and family.
I want to give a shout out to my brother Will, who's currently serving as a major in the Army. Happy Military Appreciation Month.
Hi, I'm wishing my pops, retired Colonel Stephen Sheehan of the United States Marine Corps, a happy Military Appreciation Month.
And from all of us here, happy Military Appreciation Month. Commitment connects us. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
This is the NBA on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Harden White stripped him away. Harden thought it was a foul. Here's Malcolm Brogdon on the other end. He's going to light a three, and he's going to knock it down. They can't miss here in the third quarter. Boston blowing the roof off of TD Garden.
It is our Getting It Done Play of the Game brought to you by Grainger. Need a buzzer beater to keep moving forward? Count on Grainger for supplies and solutions for every industry. When the game's on the line, call clickgrainger.com or stop by. One game ago, it was only 26 three-pointers attempted by the Boston Celtics. Joe Mazzulla implored his team to please take more. They did. They took 51 and hit 20. Jaylen Brown, he hit 3 of them. He led the team with 25 points in a game. They win by 34 over Philadelphia to tie the series at 121-87. Jaylen Brown with Allie LaForce.
What a different game than game one. How were you able to change the narrative?
It's just setting the tone on defense. Just trying to be aggressive on both sides of the ball. Getting our teammates going. Malcolm had a big game. And just setting the tone on defense and having fun.
A huge difference, too, was points in the paint. A much more balanced attack offensively tonight. How did you approach what they were trying to take and get from you offensively?
Just trying to be aggressive and take what the defense gives me. I feel like I can get to the basket whenever I want. So just trusting the game, letting the game tell you what to do, and playing basketball like the way I know how.
Even more importantly, you got this win while Philadelphia had the MVP of the league on the court. I know he wasn't 100%, but still, a win like this on your home court going on the road, how important is it?
Super important and well-deserved. Well-deserved MVP from Joel, but tonight we got the win, and we're looking for another one tomorrow.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. Well, tomorrow you're not going to play. I mean, if you want to keep shooting, feel free. But your game's going to be on Friday. They'll play Friday, Sunday. We're going to have Game 4 coming up on Sunday. Game 3 is going to be Friday night, ESPN Television. Meanwhile, the next time we are with you is going to be tomorrow night. We are going to be in San Francisco for the Warriors and Lakers to final Game 2 in round number 2. Lakers lead that series 1-0. We'll start our coverage beginning at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Once again, final score tonight. Celtics have even up the series with the Sixers at a game apiece. Boston rolls 121-87. Friday and Fitzsimmons. More post-game up next. We thank you for listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Steph's got it. He's double-teamed. Draymond now pull 3 for the tie. No good.
LeBron James and the Lakers steal home court advantage away from the Warriors with a huge Game 1 win in San Francisco. How will Golden State respond? Game 2 of the Lakers and Warriors, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on SiriusXM Channel 80. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
Frank in Florida has some.
Hey, Frank, what's up? How you doing?
This is the best show bar none on the radio. Thank you so much for everything you do. He is the best. Jay, Will, and Max, I'm telling you, y'all got the best show. Thank you so much. I travel every week, and I listen to you. I watch you in the hotels. The best show, bar none.
Key, Jay, and Max. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
As the Stanley Cup playoffs continue on ESPN, anything is possible. So the decorations could get a little out of hand, and a city could get a new landmark. Could a kraken arise? Could the storm surge? Could it happen for the first time? Could it happen again? Yeah, that could happen. That is playoff hockey. The Stanley Cup playoffs continue on ESPN.
This week on Sunday Night Baseball.
Out of here. The wind didn't bother Freddie Freeman right there. He got all over it.
Heated National League West rivals go head-to-head in San Diego when Freddie Freeman and the Los Angeles Dodgers face Manny Machado and the Padres.
There it goes and gone. Home run, Manny Machado.
The Dodgers at the Padres on Sunday Night Baseball. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app.
Game's going to be over.
In any wagerer's mind, you know that. But until you see it happen,
dude, come on,
you don't,
dude.
You don't wager. Trust
I know.
me. This is how you think. You're going. We all know that they're just going to bring the ball up, hand it to the ref, and that's it. And that's church. It's ball game.
Man, I got tears
But in the
my
back
eyes.
of your head, you're sitting there going, because there's been enough bad beats in my life. Like my worst bad beat ever is one of the highlights with Stanford Steve and Scott Van Pelt.
Oh, my
It is.
God.
I had UCLA.
Yeah.
When Josh
Oh,
Rosen
man.
gets sacked, right?
Yep.
And it's the strip sack, pickup, touchdown.
Yep.
End of game, cover the number. I had UCLA in that game. I had another one of the bad beats of their highlights. I had Northwestern catching 6
right
against Ohio State when they had the laterals. It was all the way back to Northwestern's end zone. Ohio State falls on it. They were only up 4. They ended up winning by 10.
Right.
Bad beat. So until when you're scarred like that,
apparently,
until it's over,
my God,
who the hell knows what's going to happen? So yes, with about 90 seconds to go and about 12 points to spare, I mean, I'm still going.
Oh, man.
If you jack this 3 up, I'm telling you, I'm getting on a plane and finding your address just to show up at your front door and go, why? Why?
If you have a problem with wagering and it bugs you the last 90 seconds of a game, call Wagers Anonymous at 1-800-FREDDIE-FITZSIMMONS. That's 1-800-FREDDIE and Fitzsimmons.
Open up the phones. I guarantee you, anybody who wagers on games are going to go, if it's Simmons, that fat dude is spot on right now.
Either way, 888-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Give us your thoughts on the Boston Celtics. They win game 2 tonight, the evening series at 1 with Philadelphia, 121-87. Hit us up at 888-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Ian Fitzsimmons, Freddie Coleman together on Freddie and Fitzsimmons on ESPN Radio. This game was in favor of the Celtics from the beginning, but in the third quarter, they went off.
Harden, White stripped them away. Harden thought it was a foul. Here's Malcolm Brogdon on the other end. He's going to light a 3, and he's going to knock it down. They can't miss here in the third quarter. Boston blowing the roof off of TD Garden.
Mark Kessler showed the call on ESPN Radio. This game was in doubt at halftime, even though the Celtics led 57-49. But that third quarter is where everything turned. They go on a 12-1 run. They take a 73-55 lead with a little more than 5.5 to play. Then they go on a 13-0 run, and then they led 86-60 with 157 to play in the third quarter. And at that point, both coaches gave up in the fourth quarter. Like we mentioned, we haven't seen this many guys look like non-basketball players since Larry Bird and Kevin McHale were playing for the Boston Celtics and Dr. J and Charles Bronx were playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. Both coaches said, this game is over. We're not going to put our guys back out there. But the two things that jumped out to me were, number one, why don't we see this Celtics team like this all the time? Because maybe we should have seen this coming, as this team is that goofy that they can look that way without Joel Embiid in the lineup and jacking up threes all over the place, losing game 1. And then game 2 tonight, they were so connected on defense. James Harden couldn't get loose, and he was awful tonight. He was 2 of 14 from the three-point line. I should say 2 of 14 from the field, or 6 from the three-point line. And on the other side, Joel Embiid, we know he has a lot of heart, Ian Fitzsimmons, but as this game kept going further and further, he got more and more gassed, especially in that third quarter.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since really he's been out there. So you could tell that, without question, there was fatigue in it. And I think that brace on his right knee bothered him a bit.
I agree. I'm with you.
But, man, for the Celtics to go from gutless pigs 2 nights ago.
Your term, not mine.
To wild boars tonight was beyond impressive. They did it really without Jason Tatum. He had 7 points.
Yeah, Jason Tatum was, he
1
played.
for 7.
Yeah,
19 minutes.
Yeah, he distributed the ball. He didn't force things. If it wasn't there, Jaylen Brown was the guy that got everything started for this basketball team.
Jaylen Brown, crossover to the left against Niang. Tucks in the left shoulder, 10-footer up, and gets the roll for Jaylen Brown. He's got 11 in the first quarter.
If you had told anybody that Jason Tatum only had 7 points in this ball game, you would have said the Boston Celtics were in trouble. But Jaylen Brown.
I'd say the Boston Celtics lose.
That's very fair as well. But Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brogdon, and you mentioned Marcus Smart. His energy and his attitude was infectious tonight for the Boston Celtics winning game 2.
He had 2 big possessions right before the end of the half. It's a running layup. hits a three, and then has a steal to give Derek White a wide open look to make it a 10-point game. And B comes down with a dunk Maxey had a bucket, I think, right before the end of the half to make it an 8-point game, but it didn't feel like 8. It felt like 18.
Mm-hmm.
And the halftime number, when I saw that, Celtics -1. Okay, let's double down on that. Let's get back in at halftime as well. And
before you got frantic with 90 seconds to play in the game.
Yeah, look, I wasn't worried about Celtics -1 in the second half.
Not.
I mean, like the 216 when everyone's jacking up threes and making them. Going, God, you're killing me. But Marcus Smart was sensational tonight on both ends of the floor. I mean, he was absolutely spectacular. And not just Jason Tatum, by the way, going 1 for 7 and only 7 points. Al Horford was 2 for 10.
Yeah, he was missing wide open threes.
Oh, 1 for 8 from beyond the arc. And they still chicken kicked the ever-loving hell out of Philadelphia, 121-87. So that's probably, to me, the most frustrating thing if you're a Celtics fan is you see gutless 2 nights ago and possessed this evening. And it was impressive to watch. And look, road team, game 1.
Yep.
When they win, what do you do in game 2? Hammer down on the home team in the playoffs.
Yep.
And that's why I've already played Golden State tomorrow night, -5 against the Lakers. So this one was one that you and I talked about last night. Don't be surprised.
Absolutely.
With the Celtics as a big favorite, 8-9 points, depending on where you got it, what shop you use, that they would cover that number and do it easily, and they did.
15 straight time that the home team who's lost game 1 has come back to win game 2 in the NBA playoffs. So if you're thinking that could be 16 in a row tomorrow night when it comes to the Golden State Warriors playing game 2 versus the Lakers, odds are you're probably right. So probably bet Golden State no matter what that line is or what the over-under is. This way you're not frantic in the last 90 seconds like a certain guy named Ian Fitzsimmons. Freddie and Fitzsimmons presented by Progressive Insurance. Don't look for a career path. Look for them because they give you a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits. All you got to do is go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. You're going to hear from Jaylen Brown of the Celtics and his team not being goofy in game 2 when they blew out the 76ers. Plus, Aaron Rodgers has a new/old nickname as a New York Jets quarterback.
I got to meet a few movie stars. I got to meet Chris Rock.
All thanks to Sauce Gardner. He's got that nickname. We'll tell you what that is next on ESPN Radio.
TJ and Max.
Young, great quarterback in Justin Fields, who's still developing. It's a new coaching staff. They went out and got some pass protection for him. They drafted a couple other positions of need, but they're not there yet.
More from Keyshawn, J. and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. More from Freddie and Fitzsimmons next. The Baseball Tonight podcast.
It's taken less time to land on Man on the Moon than to get a baseball, the central piece of equipment in the game that all the players and the hitters and the pitchers and the teams in Major League Baseball's front office can get behind. And it's mind-boggling to me, Tim, that we continue to have these conversations.
The Baseball Tonight podcast is on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The quest to crown a champion begins at the SEC softball tournament.
This is the best postseason conference tournament in the entire country. You're just not going to see better competition in this winner-go-home scenario.
The 2023 SEC softball tournament begins Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern on SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. Presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet.
You can't miss Canty and Carlin, pound for pound, the biggest show on ESPN Radio.
Jay Will joining us. Do you know what today is? It's Jay's anniversary. Wow, Carlin, hey. Carlin, not for you and me. What up, Jay?
CC was one of those days where you wake up and the calendar reminder pops up. You're like, ooh, let's react. Let's read and react. Let's be like LeBron and AD playing free safeties in the middle of the paint. Let's read and react to the offense. Don't worry, I'll get it all together just in enough time.
So how long did it take you to figure out what you were going to get your wife for your anniversary?
Well, thank goodness I have a lot of stuff pre-ordered. Hey, man, you got to invest in the investment. That's how I look at it.
That Amazon wish list is not always the worst thing in the world.
Not at all.
No, it's not. When that bill comes, you look at it differently, though.
Straight up.
Like, damn.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. The social reactions are in. This Friday, the biggest event of the summer arrives. Guardians is laugh out loud funny. Exactly, you idiots.
Oh, no.
The perfect conclusion of the Guardians trilogy.
That is delightful.
It's the best Marvel movie since Endgame.
Let's give the galaxy one more show.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters this Friday.
Coming up Thursday, we'll recap all the playoff action and get you ready for Game 2 of Lakers-Warriors. Going to hear right here on ESPN Radio. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Hey, it's Greeny, and the NBA playoffs have perhaps never been this compelling, and we're the place to talk about them every morning. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Little by little, the New York Jets are becoming the New York Packers. But Aaron Rodgers has a new old nickname due to his new now teammate in Sauce Gardner. We'll get to that in about 5 minutes here on Freddie and Fitzsimmons. He's Ian Fitzsimmons. I'm Freddie Coleman on ESPN Radio, as well as the ESPN app. Sirius XM Channel 80. Tune in and don't forget to tell your smart speaker to play ESPN Radio. But the Celtics able to take care of business in Game 2. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers 121-87. Game 3 Friday on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern Time. Jaylen Brown's the best player on the floor, and he talked about that after the game, why we should have seen this Celtics team in Game 1.
What a different game than Game 1. How were you able to change the narrative?
It's just setting the tone on defense. Just trying to be aggressive on both sides of the ball. Getting our teammates going. Malcolm had a big game, and just setting the tone on defense and having fun.
A huge difference, too, was points in the paint. A much more balanced attack offensively tonight. How did you approach what they were trying to take and get from you offensively?
Just trying to be aggressive and take what the defense gives me. I feel like I can get to the basket whenever I want. So just trusting the game, letting the game tell you what to do, and playing basketball like the way I know how.
Even more importantly, you got this win while Philadelphia had the MVP of the league on the court. I know he wasn't 100%, but still, a win like this on your home court going on the road, how important is it?
Super important and well-deserved. Well-deserved MVP from Joel, but tonight we got the win, and we're looking for another one tomorrow.
And if you play like that, by those Jaylen Brown of Boston with Allie LaForce of TNT, there's really no reason that if you play like that, if you're Boston, being that connected on defense, because that should be their identity. That was their identity when they had the best record in the NBA in January. That was their identity last year when they got to the NBA Finals and a 2-1 lead in Golden State because they were so connected defensively. If you can't stay connected defensively like that against a compromised Joel Embiid and shutting down James Harden, then what are you doing? And you're going to be called the goofy Boston Celtics by me again, because that's what you should not be doing, what you did in Game 1. What you should be doing that, what you did in Game 2.
Well, I love how he went to the defensive side of the floor first. They only committed 10 fouls in Game 1. You know what that tells me? They weren't playing any defense.
Absolutely.
It was Olay.
Yeah.
I mean, just go right by me. You know, no effort, no contact, no nothing. Tonight, 17, almost doubled it up. They were a different team on that end of the floor, especially in the third quarter.